Clumsy. Better. Getting a little of that argonite energy out. It's interesting, putting the crystal in the bowl, and then I'm hearing the crystal is moving, it's vibrating, but it's awfully wobbling because the density in real time. And so to make that physical move and then hit it with all these different sounds, the argonite comes through, and it's kind of a crystal sounds come out. Well, welcome to my show. I am Eight Wind is Timeless. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. I am the Galactic Daddy-O, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. Thank you, each and every one watching now, whoever will watch it later. Derek, what's happening? Jesse Lynn, wellness to you. Hey, Edward Bailey, what's happening? Overstand, thank you for joining me. And for those that like to participate, I am drinking local beer, Excelsior Bitter Shop, which is a Munich style brown ale. And let me tell you, it's freaking cold up here again. It's going to snow next week, which is not new to me to snow in April. It's not new to me at all, but still surprising. Uh, Charlie Murphy, PJ, hey, what's happening? James, what's going on? Did y'all just see Kid Cudi wear a dress doing his second act? Yeah, did y'all check that out? I did a little video about it. But did anybody see that? Kid Cudi just wore a full-length summer, what do they call those? A sundress, with the straps in full dress, like 50s style down to his ankles. So you think the price of fame? Like if you watched, he did a video with the squad, and then he did a video with the short dude Reed, and then the dude who had the sorry movie last summer. Dude who looked like he's junked out all the time. I can't think of his name, but he did a video with them, and very masculine. Did his first act, and this is why I said the first act is when most people watch. A lot of people quit watching after Weekend Update, really, because the rest of the show is kind of dry, and the second performance isn't really watched as much. But that's interesting. He decided to do it during the second performance instead of when he opened up. So, yes, I wanted to ask you, what the fuck was that? Yeah, what was it? That was Kid Cudi. That was Kid Cudi. And I couldn't tell you what his hit is. I don't know. Sundress where? On Saturday Night Live. Kid Cudi was wearing a sundress on Saturday Night Live just moments ago, like in the last 10 minutes. Second thing is Alex Rodriguez looks like he's going to buy not only the Timberwolves, looks like he's going to buy the Lynx as well. Now, I think that comes with buying the Target Center too. I think the Target Center is part of that deal. I'm not sure, but I think it is. So maybe we'll get better everything. Because the cat, I don't know what happened with Kevin Garnett, but Kevin Garnett got pushed out of the deal. But it seems like Rodriguez almost bought the Mets with J-Lo. Didn't say this time he was with J-Lo or not. So those are kind of some of the newest things going out. So yeah, they're demasculating the melanated man. Yeah, exactly. It's embarrassing because it shows other men. Oh, I forgot to bring my glass in here, but it shows other men that's trying to pursue this. This is the way to do it. You can make it to this. Now, how many people we done seen brothers on Saturday Night Live? I mean, George Clinton got on Saturday Night Live and said, "I want some pussy, some Pussy." I don't think he was on ever again after that, but he sang a song, and that's what the song was. It wasn't really any of his hits. That is one of his songs. And so we see a bunch of why me? It was like, why him? I think when Sliden was showing the alpha and the betas and the different kind of males, what kind of male would that be? That felt that the only way he could break through on his big break night is to wear sundress in New York. And I'm going to have to kill this incense. The idea sounded better than the actual incense. Seems to get my sinuses going. So yeah, it's a shame. It really is a shame to see that kind of thing, and that a young brother feels he has to do that. But it was a cool day for me today. Got to spend time with 4 of my sons and my daughter, so 5 of my children at one time. So that was cool. We got to kick it. We got to watch. My son got a $2,000-3,000 television. It's like better than a movie theater. It shows all the colors. They said they watched King Kong on it. I'm gonna go back over and watch King Kong with him sometime. But watch the game, the Nets game, and so we was gone, even with my young one. And what's funny, and this is the funniest thing, and my daughter's cracking up. Keelan is just huge now. My other son is 6'6", and about 6'6.5", and Keelan's about tall as him, if not as tall. So he's just growing. City, the one that puts his big face in here. But he picks up Natalie, picks up my youngest, and he throws her on his shoulder. So he picks her up, throws her on his shoulder, and he kind of throws her down to put her on his other shoulder. So he just was kind of picking her up and throwing her shoulder to shoulder. Then, as he was trying to put her on the other shoulder, she just farted. And she like farted right in his face because he had her like this and he, have her stomach compressed and she just farted all in his face and he didn't know what to do. He's like, and then he put her down because he kind of like laid her down and she's just cracking up laughing. His brothers are laughing. And then she was trying to tell her mother on the phone and she's just laughing, telling her. Then she's trying to tell me before she went to bed. She's just cracking up. So she got him good, and she's like, pop, pop, like right in his face, and that's what he gets. So, oh, he looked so uncomfortable. I agree, Jesse Lynn. He did look uncomfortable. I agree with that. He looked like, and he's a little guy, and that's what I noticed at first is he was a littler dude, short guy. And I'm like, wow, he did. You chance to watch the series. No, I didn't. I didn't get to watch the series. To watch the series. No, I didn't. I didn't get to watch that, James. But yeah, so that was my little funny, and I had to mess with my son because we went over there and we were there 3-4 hours. We were gone. We left at 4. No, we left about 5. Nah, we might even left at 6. Now I think about it, we left at 6. And so we came back about 10. So we only been back for a minute. I got back right to see Saturday Night Live. I forgot to tape Attack of the Titans. That came on. I watched it on something else. But that came on tonight too. But yeah, we had fun. So it was cool. It was a cool day. And like all my boys trying to get them together, it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny getting everybody together. I had plans on earlier moving around. And of course, those plans didn't work. Everybody, my oldest son, or my middle oldest, he had apparently partied too hard last night. And so he was a little hungover. My other son, when I'm going he's like, oh, somebody's picking me up and we're going antiquing. So I think he said his friend didn't meet him out there, so he had to Uber back home. I think my son drove him out there and he had to Uber back. But so everybody met later. And he's leaving, going back to Michigan. And he teaches. And I was telling him, Michigan's about to lock down. That's what Whitmer proclaimed, that they're going to not be in school for the next 2 weeks. And then she's proclaiming everyone to stay home again. Oh, we're sad. Yeah. Hey, Mr. T, thank you for joining me. So Michigan is going to face it again. And it just makes you think a lot of folks in Michigan has gotten the vaccine. But do you see how they want to do this scare in the summertime to scare people? Like you really can get this in the summertime. And is it past more? Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. We are going to see how it works for them. But I just think they have those people so scared. They have those people so scared. Like when it was supposed to be locked down here, it was never like that, other than they made people quit working. And they was counting the number of people going in the stores. But that's it. People, okay, they shut down the bars and the restaurants, but they didn't shut down Walmarts. So it was still stores you could go to. So it wasn't like people in this state wasn't doing stuff. We were still doing stuff. Like even the parks, they never closed the parks to hoops. I know when I went in the city, they did that to them, but down here, they never did that. Like the little small playground near my house, they put tape around it and the children would break the tape every day. Every day the city would wrap it and the children would break it and be playing on it. And not one time did I ever see them running them off. They didn't block any of the hoops because right on our lake and this place was anywhere else, it would be packed all the time, but it's just not that climate of people hooping is serious. But this is a hoop right on the lake. It's a beautiful scenery. And people hoop on every. Hey, King Kane, what's happening? Best sports movie you ever seen? I like Remember the Titans and Pride with Terrence Howard. James, hey, Jody. The ones that didn't shut down have ties with the government, I feel. That could be. That could be because we really didn't shut down. It's like an alternate universe here in places locking down, but living in Texas is wide open. Yeah, it's pretty wide open here too. Almost everything is wide open here, other than no full sports capacity yet. But they're selling tickets, and there's about 30 plus games, hoop games, and hockey. So they're going to let people more and more. So I just think that I don't know. I don't that like you say, Jesse. It blows my mind. The best sports movie to me was North Dallas 40. I liked North Dallas 40, and I liked White Man Can't Jump too, because there was a lot of lessons in that. But I like North Dallas 40. You got a real look at the life of pro football. And so I thought that was one of my sports movies. I'll tell you the funniest sports movie though is The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. That's some funny shit. That's some funny shit. Dr. J is rapping to a chick, and he takes her to the court, and he does about 1,000 dunks. And the chick is like, every dunk they show her expression, and it looks like she gets turned on by him going to the park and dunking a few. I never had thought about that. I tried it and didn't have any luck. The girl got bored after 2 or 3 dunks, but it worked for Dr. J. It was about 1,000 dunks, and he was in there. But so that's kind of funny. But North Dallas 40 for sure. That was one of my favorite sports movies. What's the Burt Reynolds movie that Alan Sandler did? That movie's kind of funny too, because in the original one, they go to run like a sweep to the left, and everything's blocked, and then they go to the opposite direction, and they do it all in slow motion with Burt Reynolds. That shit was kind of funny too. Well, thank you, Jody. The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh is a classic, and that place. That's where I saw Marvin Gaye up in that gym. That gym had a roof that opened. If you remember, that roof opened. That's where the Pittsburgh Pipers had played too. Why are they still trying to keep the fear up? It feels like the majority could care less. People ain't really fooled anymore. People's like, forget this, because this is the thing: is people getting the plunge. And it's like, wait a minute, you've got 1 million of this plunges out, and things ain't changed. So what's the point? Dr. J is a Pisces like me, okay, PJ. But yeah, Jesse Lynn, I agree wholeheartedly. It shows you how deceptive it all is. It still shows you the deceptiveness of it. I mean, there are people that are really believing everything. That's the part I don't understand. It's like people still don't understand that the government is some of the worst liars we've ever invented. These are their job is to be dishonest to get the money. We pay so many taxes, and we provide such a lavish lifestyle for this club, this fraternity. We pay for their health insurance for life. Look at the senators. The senators is the one. The senators is the one position where it's almost for life. It is almost for life. Biden been in the Senate. What, he got 30 years in? It's like what McCloskey, the one in Kentucky, brings $1 billion to Kentucky a year. You think they're trying to get rid of him? You see the power these people accumulate? And they've set it up where these are the most powerful people. Almost every other president comes out of that body. That should be just like the other ones. You make the other ones, why do they get to run longer than the president? What sense does that make? And why should the Supreme Court, they don't want to make other extra Supreme Court position, but why aren't they voted in every so many years? That makes no sense. That is not checks and balances at all. When the Supreme Court gave a presidential decision to W, they're supposed to be partial, and they right there showed they wasn't partial. They were party people. We are those party people. Hey, Unique Breed, what's happening? Vernetta, nice to see you. Is fairly, yeah. That plunge it has a lot of people are having problems with that. but all of them over. I mean, it is getting really sad because the full story is coming out and the sickness has been showing. And the people was like, one chick was on Facebook with her card and she's like, I took the plunge and showing her card and I'm still sick. And then somebody, I don't get showing sick cats. I don't get like Facebook, all the people saying somebody died, and that's vampirism. That's necromancy at the least. But it's more like vampirism because everybody's taking a bite. So you just can't let the person rest. You think really you giving you putting him out there and saying rest in peace, you really think that's good? I mean, from a spiritual point. I know people saying, well, we giving our respects and everything. I think the respect was like what the MTV was doing. But people don't understand what they put you, what you're really doing. You're taking a bite like a vampire would. Well, I'm saying my final goodbyes. Yeah. So now you do it. That should be personal. That's why I like what MTV did. For an hour, they just kept playing his popular 10, 15, however many they played in an hour. They just kept playing it back to back. That's the vibration. But everybody has to comment. And that's the hook. That's where Facebook, and I imagine the others, I don't do Twitter, I don't do Instagram. I imagine they got the same type of hooks. Somebody can say some shit and everybody tries to get a piece or got their point. But it's a hook. It's all a hook. Hook you into making you show some emotion or saying some shit. It's like right after the election, how like one of my girls was so heavy into Trump that I think she done went silent on the shit because she took such an L. But if you show unbalance, you would take the L. You can't show unbalance. I mean, neither one of them, was really for the peoples, about the peoples, and talk about the peoples and help the peoples. You see Sly had a girl up saying she took it with the swollen face. Yeah, the people have died. Yeah, they have. Yeah, I saw you put that up. I had saw it on Facebook hours before, though. Somebody had put it up on Facebook. So that's where I first saw it. They were showing that. Hard to say. Is that propaganda? Because the government does both. Remember that? They're going to show both sides. They're going to show it being successful, and they're going to show that kind of stuff, too. That's one I'll give that to Quantum of Science. He made that point up. They knew that a lot of black folks wasn't going to take it. They knew that. They knew this Tuskegee stuff was going to pound them in the face. So this is what they're doing. They going to re-release this thing and say, see, the ones that didn't get it, you needed to get it because you didn't get it, and you might get it, and there you're going to get it. Oh. And definitely the masks are a thing that says pretty much we all comply. Fear's everywhere. We all comply. Fear is everywhere. Hey, Barbara, very kind for you to join me. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. So, use your own judgment, your own decision when you whatever comes, whatever you think. Because I'll tell you what, I took some concentrics yesterday and I feel wonderful. So maybe they put it in the concentrics. I don't know, but I feel wonderful. I treat my own water with copper. I constantly wear silver and I constantly deal with copper. So I do my own kind of alchemy on myself. And it works pretty well. I've been drinking Sugarite laced water for 4 years, going on 5. No, before. So yeah, 16. Since 16. Since 16, when I ordered my first Sugarite rocks. And I've been treating my water like my copper mugs are from 16. And it seems to help me. So I don't have any fear. That's the thing, is they want to do this to generate fear in you. The boogeyman is everywhere. I mean, it's still people in this country that don't like they don't go nowhere. And they don't have people come over. I mean, it's people really isolating. Do you understand? There are people in this country that still don't see people. People on Facebook, first time I saw my daughter in a year. They're really that stupid. I got to look at these entertainers is traveling. You can still get on planes. But there are a lot of people that still ain't seeing people. And then they put, well, I get to see him, ain't saw him in a year. I saw some people last week. They still don't face-to-face see people. And now they both older and had some health issues, but it ain't that serious. It's not. It don't happen like that from person to person like they make you think. She says, PJ says, I've been doing the black seed oil, sea moss for a while now. Why do I need a plunge? There you go. Why do you need it? You can take care of yourself. And okay, it gets you sick. Okay, you get sick and it's time to go. Some ways that's not bad. You get up out of this. They ain't messing with people that don't have no fear of the beast. Because if you go say, okay, this is it, then let it be it. No, I'm not going to fight it. Now you're not going to put all that shit on me, but I'm not going to fight it. Okay, if this is my time for my eternal sleep, then let's sleep. I love everybody, but if this is the time to punch out, okay, I'll punch out. Not going to make me scared. No matter what you think and what you say I have. Like the guy said, the guy goes into the office and to see the doctor, and the doctor says you have cancer, and he says, no, I don't. And he walked out. Didn't do anything, any of that radiation, none of that shit, and the guy went on to live. My grandfather had brain cancer. Brain cancer and still lived 20 years. This is how stupid his diagnosis got. They said his cancer was fighting other cancer. He had so much cancer in his body that the cancer was fighting the other cancer. Make some fucking sense. Did you see the Lakers game? KCP went off. Yeah, I watched it. I had to take one son back to North Minneapolis and then to pick up my other son, so I missed most of the second half. James says he takes black seed himself. But yeah, I did see when they was ahead. Yeah, I watched up until about the third quarter. Then I was moving around. I was hoping to leave at halftime, but that didn't happen. So yeah. And black seed oil is something I do need to probably get into too. But I take niacin, I take turmeric. So, I take a lot of healthy things. And I need to exercise more, definitely. I should have bought a bike when I had a chance, but I don't know, sitting on that seat too. But I saw a couple different seats though. It's gonna be bikes gonna come. Again, we're supposed to get a little snowstorm Tuesday, I think. I didn't put all my boots up, so I got to get all my boots back out. And it's cool right now. It's cool. We've been wearing coats all day. Let's see. This is weird, but okay. Let's see what they say about the weather. It's 40 some degrees right now. Because I saw the news, and the news was talking about snow. Okay, it's going to get a low of 38 tonight. 58 tomorrow, 47, 42 on Tuesday. So that's when we might get snow. But they say April showers bring May flowers. What the hell is this? This is some weird shit. Okay. It's like you just get some weird shit said to you in the middle of your thoughts. Some weird shit. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Facebook, and I shared it on Facebook, but I saw that. And but like if you go into my Facebook page and read all the article, Demeter, I gotta have Demeter back on. But Demeter broke down the agenda Because originally the agenda said is to kill the man and woman relationship with the child. That was one of their early agendas. I mean, you can see his brother's video breaking that down. Did you? He's like, you guys are endorsing this, and did you read their charter? It says to break up the man and the woman, and look at all what they've supposedly spent their money on. It ain't blacks. It's blacks with an agenda. It's blacks with a slant. So who was that to help? Again, this was not created. See, this is what happened, and this is why they brought that back. People started rejecting African American, laughing at Jesse Jackson. People was rejecting that shit. So they went back to black because people was learning who the real Indians was in this country. Not natives, but Indians. Etsy is selling acrylic original painting on DMX. Fresh album cover, My Flesh, My Blood. One available. He's worth more dead than alive. It's, you know what surprised me though is that they didn't put it in NTF or NFT, excuse me. That's what surprises me, that wasn't put on that. Hey, Strong Discernment, do you think they're going to paint the city red after George Floyd case? I've been saying this again, and I tell you, I don't know, I just got lazy and didn't put it, but they showed another thing. So one thing that the defense was counting on, and one dude, like I was saying, there's been 100 cases in the last 10 years. In a majority of these cases is the same expert, and the same expert is getting these cops off. So they put this other dude on, and I love the way they did the reporting. So I really should have reported. Maybe if I catch it in the morning, I probably wasted it. But what they did is like they let that dude, and he's like, yeah, I get paid to say to the cops, his work in this study. And they brought this other expert on, and they said, do you know about him, and what do you think? He said, well, I think the majority of his work is flawed and slanted. And then they showed his stuff. It was like, The brother, what it basically said is the brother, that the dude stood on his neck 3 minutes after he quit breathing. 3 minutes after he quit breathing, he still stayed on his neck for 3 more minutes. So, but like Saturday Night Live made fun of, is he going to get off? I think so. I would be highly surprised he got time, maybe probation, but I don't see them convicting. And yeah, they're going to face it, whatever happens. It's supposed to be 1 million people. That is the word on the street, that everybody, like all the folks that live on the north side, is with walking distance downtown, the south side. Everyone's going to be downtown. That's why I said I'm going to get electric bikes, me and some of my guys, and we're going to report. Be safe about it, because before, when it happened, kind of volatile. And I'm not a young pimp anymore. I can't just go around using my pimp hand on everyone in circumstances like this. You got to have some stealthiness to you. So this I'm more prepared for, to do reporting and see what's going to happen, because he's going to get off. He's going to get off. I mean, that's just the reality of where we are. We're in Minnesota. The two other dudes that did shootings and people got off. They did the young dude, they said he was handcuffed and got shot in the head. Yeah, he was handcuffed and got shot in the head. And they said he was trying to fight for a gun in the stairs. But the people who was there said when they brought him out shot, he was handcuffed. So they didn't shoot him and then handcuff him. The word was that he came down and he got shot in the head. Castile was saying brothers don't have gun permits. Castile's guy got off. He got fired, but he got off. He wasn't criminally charged. Same prosecutor. It's the same prosecutor for both those other cases. So what's going to change this? This ain't going to change, because that video. Do y'all remember the first King, when King got beat? Remember the first verdict, they got off. Chris, what was Chris's name for the OJ? Darwood? I can't think of it. I met the cat at Planet Hollywood. He was signing books and shit, and that's where we was all chilling afterwards. Chris Darwin, whatever the fuck his name was. He lost that case, and it was on video where they beating him 1,000 times. The feds had to go after them cops. And remember, it was only the young dude that got time. One person got time out of that. I witnessed in my lifetime where the Klan fought the communists and openly killed communists, 5 people. They got it on film, FBI informant with them. No one ever charged for that back in 79. They've got it on film. It's on film of them shooting. The Klans got guns. The communists just had signs. They have films of who shot whom. No one was ever charged with that. So I don't see it being any different. The family 120. There you go. And that's why they gave it to him before. That's why they gave it to him before. That was the strategy. We give them to them before. What people gonna complain about? They got paid. Ain't that what black folks say? Well, they got paid. They got paid. So what do you think? They're gonna double do him? They already paid this money. They're not going to convict him. 100 people in 10 years, no one ever convicted of that. They're not going to convict this guy either. Yeah, be safe. Well, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Dalton. Dalton? Chris Dalton? No, it wasn't Chris Dalton. Oh, downtown. Dalton. Chris Dalton, that was his name? Chris Dalton? The lawyer? Maybe that was his name, Dalton. He was kind of cool. He wasn't as square as what people thought. I was kind of impressed with the brother. Brother straight up asking, you think he was timing and all that? He's like, no, I just did my job. They kind of dogged him in the TV series. They kind of belittled him, but meeting the cat, he was a sharp cat. I was surprised how sharp he was. So no judgment. No judgment. But yeah, he's not going to get convicted. So we're going to see. We're going to see how everybody, will the government. And this, again, we've been a test case. Them other two I saw as a test. That was always my thought. I'm like, this is a test play. So what they're testing is and sad to say, see, what Minneapolis was facing was a complete shutdown. And when I say a complete shutdown, I'm talking about of goods and services. Because what was going to happen is they were going to starve Minneapolis. Minneapolis was going to be starved. Now, already you couldn't go into the city. They was letting people out, but you couldn't go in. See, when they had a curfew, they cut off the highways. They put tanks and shit, and Jeeps and Hummers on the highways. So you couldn't go into the city after curfew. And so the people were going to be starved. And I imagine they're going to try to do a very similar thing. All the supermarkets deliveries is going to stop days before, and they're going to wait and see. I bet the stores are going to be leading when the verdict is due. The stores in Minneapolis all are going to be on low inventory. And as I said last night, so you're going to riot and tear up stores, but there's a federal bank right downtown. I didn't say that, guys. I didn't say that. But you're upset with the government. Shouldn't you be upset on something like that? You can't talk about that. Knocking on my door and said, hey, you tell them the motherfuckers don't listen to me like that, guys. They don't listen to me like that. People don't want that. People want Target. They want the Target suits, the Target shorts. Christopher Dalton. Yeah, that's what I thought. Darden. Chris Darden. Yeah. I don't think it was Dalton. I think it was Darden. Christopher Darden, I think it was. I think it's Darden. Yeah. I don't think it's Dalton. I think it's Darden. I don't think it's Dalton. I think it's Darden. Something like that. Yeah. But thank you, Barbara. Yeah, I saw them kick Kyrie out. I did see that part. I was sitting on my son's. Have you seen the movie 2081? Check that film out. Okay. Thank you. I haven't. GR. Hey, what's happening? I'm fine. Wellness to you. Yeah, Christopher Darden. Yeah. Because they was always bringing people in at Planet Hollywood. And my man Dwayne worked up in there too. Dwayne knew everybody. That's why when I moved back here 14 years ago, I didn't find Dwayne. They said he did time, but Dwayne knew everybody. And he had worked there, and they got private rooms. That place ain't even there anymore. I think it's what is it? Rock Cafe is there now. But it used to be it's not the Hard Rock, but it used to be where Schwarzenegger and all them owned restaurants around the country, where all these actors owned it. It was one of them. I said the name, I just forgot. But that place, and there was I don't even know if they was called VIP rooms back then, but there was separate rooms where they would have people, and you could go in this door, and if you had whatever, they let you in, and you got to kick it with people. But I'll check that out. 2081. I'll check that out. Oh. But let me see if this is show. Who's this? Okay, get this shit tomorrow. Where we at? Here we go. I love this phone taking pictures because you can get like every minute. Let's see. Yeah, I let my daughter take pictures. She can't take pictures. But these is my guys. Those are my boys. See, Cameron is about 6'6.5", and City is catching him. And then with the baby sister. My middle daughter is like, why am I so short? Because my middle daughter is only about 5'6". She's like, I got all these huge brothers, and why am I so short? But my oldest daughter is short like her mother. I bet my oldest daughter is only about 5'3", 5'4". So the eight win Kings. Thank you. When we go to Vegas, we stay at Planet Hollywood for the most part. Yeah. I think it was Planet Hollywood. I think that was what it was called. They was called then. Yeah, Planet Hollywood, but it's not there anymore. Now it's Hard Rock Cafe. So they took that out. And it had like, shit from movies and shit all over, pictures of the people. It was like we had a Cadillac Ranch. One of my favorite restaurants in Mall of America was the Cadillac Ranch, which was owned by Jagger, Walk This Way, whatever his name is, that dude with the big lips, Tyler, his group, he owned a part of it. It was in one of the Rolling Stones owned a part of it. And that's not there anymore. And they had really good food. Plus, they did live music all the time. I kind of missed that. And I got a little restaurant, little bar here that's back to doing live music again. And then in July they're having a big festival, so I got to get my tickets for that. Well, thank you, Barbara. Yes, Valerie, they definitely are. Thank you very much. They are. When I walk, it's like when I'm with them, even just my son. I mean, ain't nobody bothering us. They don't realize he's just big. I'm the one that's dangerous, but that it's that look. It's that look. It's that look of having these big guards around me. So it was good. My son come here and hang out with his friends, and he knows people. But he's been with my son. The two of them are the oldest. One's about to be 26. One's 31. My oldest is 31. And so they hang out. I saw him. I brought him here. We hung out a little bit, and then this was the first time seeing him since last Sunday when I brought him in. So, but that's okay. That's good. That he can come here and have a good time, see the folks. And he was getting funky while he was over there. He's going back in the morning. He said he had like a 50 milligram or 50 milligram edible before he came. He said he didn't want to take it on the plane, so he chunked it before he got on the plane. So he was kind of tripping on the plane. They have the restaurant, the hotel, Hard Rock Bang is down the strip a little. Okay. Yep. It's down the strip a little bit. Okay. Yeah, but that's one of the newer restaurants. I'll say about 2-3 years newer that's in the Mall of America. And it hasn't, I don't know, I haven't been out there in about a month, but when I went out there, it's not what it used to be. Weekends, it's like most people here, it's a tourist attraction. I just know special stores, and again, it's the Long John Silver's is after the hockey puck, sausage and pancakes. Long John Silver's probably my next favorite restaurant here, and there's only one or two in the state, and one is there, or the closest one to me is there. So when I go out there, I do the Long John Silver's, and it's like too much damn fish they give you. Hush puppies. That's where I learned about hush puppies. And somebody said when slaves would drop hush puppies so the dogs chasing them would eat the hush puppies and eat instead of eating them. Oh, that slavery narrative, Let me see. Here we go. So one thing, I'll talk a little bit about how you can get in touch with ancestors and why, and this is everybody listening. This is why the people that are alive in your family, when you look at these pictures, get the stories of these people. Write down the stories about these people. Like, ask the oldest person in your family to tell you about the oldest person in your family that they knew. And then write down, journal, I don't even, graph, but write down who these people were and little quirky things. So you can pass this down to your people. So your people can't not just look at pictures, they can actually look at the picture and know the personality. Now I'm going to give you an example how this shit works and how this is magic. So my oldest relative on the Macon side is called Josh Macon. Josh is the one supposedly had 50 children. I've only counted about 32, 33 because he married two different women. He had like 18 or 19 with my line. Then he married another line and had another about 11 to 15. So I haven't come up with 50, but that's what the thing is. But other than seeing he's one of the greatest players ever in the family, I mean, that's 30 children that's a lot of work. He's putting in some work, which is spreading, passing that pimpdom down to the men. But there's another thing that was interesting about him. And I'd heard this story since I was a little boy. This cat liked jumping into wells. Now, I may have to hip a few of you. Before there was running water, you got waters out of a well. You threw in the damn bucket and the bucket went in the water. You loosen the slack. It would eventually get full and you'd bring the bucket up. So people would drill. They had ancient ways of drilling. It's now just, but they've always had a way to drill to find the water. But he had a quirky thing about him. He liked to jump in that motherfucker. Now, a lot of times the rope is sturdy enough, you can climb right back up. And for years, it made me wonder, why would this motherfucker just jump in this well and how dark and you're down there? What if the rope breaks? And because as he got older, he wasn't strong enough to lift himself out, couldn't crawl back out. They'd have to send some shit down there and pick his ass up. The last time he did it, he got sick. Got him sick, probably did it a little cooler, and he got pneumonia, and it did take him out. He ended up contracting pneumonia, and it did take him out. But I had to feel like what he felt. So I zarred back, and when he jumped one time, I jumped with him. And I wanted to know, what was it? What was that feeling? Like, what was that attraction? And again, I had to go into it without judging. And I just was able to see the peace and serenity of being inside of the earth, completely encased, and knowing that water is just under you for miles. It was one of the greatest grounding experiences. And again, I'm a water sign, so I am a storm. That energy is with me anyway. And it was like nothing else. What the well could give you jumping in that motherfucker, there ain't nothing else that could give you that feeling of being so grounded and grounded in a way through the water. It was like, it's like that feeling that you just know how, it's like more water than you can ever imagine that you're on top of. Some ways the water that goes into the center of the earth. And there's nothing else that could give you that feeling. And now there's nothing like that you could just go jump into. And so I bring this up just to share with you, get these stories about these family members so you can pass on, so they ain't just looking at a picture and saying, okay. You should have a story to go with these pictures. And I say this too, start taking pictures again. Quit putting all the pictures on the phone. Start going to print pictures and, Make these books. My great grandmother got this many books of her life. And we're in a fucked up situation because my uncle's wife, I think she has them. And we already lost some family pictures to an ex. My uncle dies and his wife has this stuff. And his son ain't man enough to go take that shit. So, what did I miss? Oh, thanks. I forget to give thanks to Macy's. This is vintage. This is from Macy's. Macy's be hooking me up. Thank you, Macy's. But this is some vintage. I think last night I wore more vintage too. But thank you. This is a nice little soft. If you got a girl and she laid on you with this, she would really be happy. This is really soft. I'm like a big teddy bear. Thank you, though. We're a lot alike, Unc. I love Long John Silver's. He put into work. I told my nephews and nieces stories of the oldest Omen Native Americans in our family. That is it. I'm watching one of my most favorite movies of all time, my iPad, The Last Dragon, starring in Vanity. Yeah, that's the Motown. You see the Godzilla, yeah, how we had a Hollow Earth plot in the movie. That's in it. Yeah, GR. I broke it down about that. Again, they ignored the water. You know, Godzilla's able to blow through the earth, and there's no water that he's blowing through. Somewhere when you blow through there, you're going to come into water. There's more water down there than on land. And yeah, they skipped that part. They made it like black hole-ish, you know. And then again, why does it have to be a black hole? You know, like a black hole. You know, they really talking about us. You know, out there is just a black hole. Like they talking to the divine, talking shit about the divine. But yeah, I saw that. The printed pictures are flowing with a lot of mystical power. There it is. Do you feel ancestors trying to reach us? I just got hit with years ago. I got hit with this name, and I wrote the name down, and still I'm not sure what the name goes to. I've got an idea, but I think what I was putting out there first is not right. But I just got hit with another thing, another name. The mayor came up with one of the ancestors, so I'm looking into that, what that means. And the other thing on oh yeah, I got something else that Desire that was released to me, and I'm not gonna really talk about that, but yeah, they do. They do. I'll tell you. The first time I went back to Michigan after they tried to kill me, and my first time going back, you could see my reservations. Like, is these same people going to try to kill me again? So I had very, very anxious about going back to Michigan. And a couple of ancestors, my grandfather of all people, and my grandfather was related to my grandmother. They were about 7th or 8th cousins, somewhere in there. And so him and my uncle came to me, and it's like, it's okay. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. And so, yeah, they've reached out to me, and others too. Sometimes that should be just your intent, is just giving thanks like that. Like, instead of just doing your daily prayer, just give an intent to that. You can have a picture. You can put a picture with a candle, picture with anything, and just put it down. And you know, like if you do, you know, a type of ancestor altar, again, put the things that they like on there. Like if their birthday comes or whatever, you know, whatever you interacted when they was here, give those same kind of things. You know, if you do a family altar, you know, put the things there. I mean, when you give altars, give gifts, you know, to your altars. Like my altar out there. Like when Natalie found when I was giving fresh tobacco, and I was like, oh, Jimi Hendrix smoked cigarettes. So in my cave, amethyst, where I've got Jimi Hendrix in there to give me the universal sound all the time, I put a cigarette, tobacco in a cigarette. He was a chain smoker. So these are the kind of offerings you should give. So, but you have to recognize it too. That's another thing, is being able to recognize that they contacted you. So that's why I brought up maybe having a picture or a photo album, even a picture on your phone if that's all you got. And then you'll be more open to recognizing, because see, you focus your energy on that family member. Now, this is what's interesting. You focus your energy on that family member, and if another family member pops up, you got to take note, because maybe it didn't bring them in, but it brought another one in. But you see that this can be a vessel. That's how you kind of look at it. It's like, so if I put this vessel out here of my ancestors, it will open up for other ancestors to come in. I've explained Mother's Day about 5 years ago. My grandmother was a Pentecostal. I had my stones in my shower, so that's a lot of times where I do my prayer. And and my grandmother, I'm praying, and then just something's like this, just getting closer, closer, and I'm like starting to pay attention because it's coming closer, 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 and then boom, is a black and white picture of my grandmother in about her mid 30s. So just you have to be open to recognize that's the biggest thing. And like when people, we talk about leaving your body and stuff, but it's like beyond doing that is recognizing, like when that's why I think a lot of ways when I try to explain about being in a hallway is a lot easier for people to move through the energies on something that your imagination can comprehend, on just talking about something abstract, because leaving your body is a very abstract thought. And so you have to have some kind of context that you can put it in that makes it work for you. And what happens is, as you close your eyes, I say see a hallway, because a lot of times you're going to see like energy moving here. You're going to see a bigger energy picture moving here. And you really don't want to see it like this, where it's coming around. You really just want to see yourself kind of moving through it. But what you want to do is you kind of want to keep this like tight picture as you keep moving. You want it to be kind of tight. And so it's not, you're just blasting off. You're kind of, as tight as it is, you're kind of moving with it. And that's why I say you look at it as a hallway. And then you have to notice that each hallway also can have openings and doors. So that's what you would be able to experience later with that. But first, to just see that, you move through your own pace through this, and it's just not running you through. So you can remember the experience. Because a lot of times, if you do have ancestors and you just moving through, or you not recognizing, it's not that they'll give up, but you kind of have to look at it on their end as the spiritual people. It's got to be enough energy to help them come in, if that makes sense to anyone, because you're alerting, you're giving out these alerts, and hopefully you are protected. Again, always be protected, but you're giving out these alerts, and certain family members that'll ding them. And so it takes a little effort for them to come in, especially if you look at it like their energy is low because enough people aren't really recognizing them. And so here's their chance to connect again. And they come in and you don't notice because you just, you're not aware yet. So that's where a little help, they don't mind. Does the FBI still send hits on people? Yeah, they do. But I would say more CIA than FBI. So do some children come out the womb with no problems? So do some come out the womb with no problems? Well, there does seem to be a type of agreement that we agree as souls, and I don't know if that's the regenerating, or is that you volunteer to go back to fight the beast again. So I think if your question is, can you go through that and come out normal? It's hard. It's hard for a lot of people to go the rest of their life and be normal. Self-medication, abusive relationships, because again, there's something wrong or something been wrong, and a lot of people. It's hard for a lot of people to come back from it. I have a good friend, loved one that it's gonna be. They've done the best they could, but it's hard. It's hard. So, if you're saying when they go back the second time, yeah, they can be successful. You burn ancestry money. Vanetta, I don't know about that. I saw the cat. I saw the cat that one of them, he was one of them Pan-Africans, and he was talking about that, and that was a hustle. I don't know about that. That seems like a hustle. If it works, then that's cool. I would never pay for that kind of thing. I'll say what I do is my talismans in my bedroom. I do put money, real money, under them. I don't burn it. I give it to them, and so I put money into each and every one of them, but I don't burn it like that. I want to have a live stream panel with you on your chat soon, brother. I'd have to see if I can get Slide to see. What if you never met your father's side of the family? Hmm. Wow. Yeah, this is the thing. So that masculine energy is cut off. That's one thing to consider, is that side's cut off. Uh, if you can learn about as much as you could, it wouldn't hurt you. It would help you somewhat, because it depends on the circumstances on why they didn't search you out. It's like for my oldest daughter, I've only met her twice due to her mother being with the man that, she was with all them years too. She was with him and still messing with me for 10 years. And we had my daughter, but he raised her. So she don't really know her real father side of the family. I mean, she went to school literally with my oldest son. They're only months, well, they're about 10 months apart, maybe 10 to 15 months. Because she won't, he's about to be 32 and she'll be 31 in December. So if there's anything you can learn about them, might give you a little juice. Don't take it as a wound. I mean, it wasn't you, you know, and you know where your masculinity came from and what made you feel and be a man. You can't take a loss from that. That's kind of their loss instead of your loss. So it doesn't make you less. It doesn't make you less. It really they missed out on a great person. So yeah, it's that happens to a lot of people. So it's not just you. Consciousness is immortal, so they are around for sure. Yeah, it is. Consciousness is That's the book I'm reading. This dude is trying to say that the way the Darwinism developed the brain, and no, it's bullshit. Consciousness was always around. Have you ever tried water and does it has moving particles? Have you tried well water? Does it have moving particles? Yeah, my ex, when I met my ex, she was embarrassed to take me. She pretty much grew up on I've said this before, she grew up on a 3-room house. It had 2 bedrooms, and the other room was a kitchen-like thing with a stove and refrigerator in it, but they didn't have running water in the house. And they had an outhouse. And so yeah, the water was good. I used to bottle the shit. I would fill bottles up and take it back. So yeah, I used to do that. I used to get tobacco from her, pounds of tobacco, and that's one of my favorite things is going into where they cure tobacco. Oh my goodness, you talking about raising your vibration and just oh, that green tobacco is getting cured. Oh, I love that smell. It's the thing that, like, I never smoked cigarettes, but when you open a pack of cigarettes, that smell is kind of like that. I always like that smell of when a person would open them up, and it reminded me of being a tobacco farmer. So yeah, I can't say about that. Um, I remember like some wells had to pump, and I remember we was hooping at a park, and I didn't, I've been around several places like this where they just had a pump, and they always had a cup like this. It was always a copper cup, and I never thought about it, but it was like if you wanted to drink, because it was always like a hook there with a cup on it, and people would drink out of something. It was more like a little bigger than this one though. And I've been several places and drank out of those things. But it was like you pump it. Sometimes you'd have to prime it. So there's always extra water if it was that kind of pump. Because some pumps you had to pour water in it to prime it to get the pressure built. And some you didn't have to do that. You could just pump and the water would come. And we'd be playing ball and everybody would take water breaks and we would like pump water, drink it, put the cup down. The next person would do it. And, I can't remember people getting sick like that. But it was always copper cups to shit like that. Learning later that, copper, bacteria can't live on copper. So it does taste good. Have I ever coached? Oh yeah. I coached, let me see, my first year I coached freshman football. We won the city. And then I coached 5 years. I coached JV basketball. And then I coached 7 years. And then I coached another JV team. Yeah, that wasn't cool. I should have kept reffing, but they begged me. They begged me to take the job, and then they didn't like the way I coached. And so the second year, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this again. They didn't like I'm dressing fresh, I'm dressing really fresh. And yeah, they wasn't feeling my dressing. It's like you're supposed to wear this Bronco Billy blue jean top with the name on it, and whatever blue jeans could match is what they was telling me. I'm wearing designer shit while I'm coaching. So yeah, they wasn't feeling me at all. They wasn't feeling me at all. So it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. Um, you ever Alex Jones info so any of his content? Do I ever check out Alex Jones? I can't really say I have. I can't really say I ever listened to him. Um, yeah. I probably listened to Howard Stern more than Jones. I can't ever remember. Wow. Yeah. I've listened to so little of him, I couldn't even tell you. And the only reason I listened to Howard Stern and have a comment about Robin is because I would take my children to school in the radio station. Again, when I lived in Battle Creek, they did not have good radio. It was, it's a little city, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek. One's got 100,000, one's got about 50,000. So they're small cities, almost towns in some ways. But they had that mug on the radio. So when I would take the boys to school before I would go to work, I would listen to it, taking them to school, then going to work. So I can't really say. I couldn't say anything about him. Anything at all. So I don't have opinion. I couldn't tell you, GR. Couldn't tell you. So yeah, I enjoyed coaching. I enjoy roughing more than I enjoy coaching. Because I ref longer. I coached a total of 6, 7 years. Well, 5, 6, 7 years. But I ref for 20 plus. I ref for 20 plus years. And I started reffing flag football and became co-owner of the league, and we sold the league to the city. The city offered me a job to run the damn thing. So, and rough it. And I picked a couple of my guys, and we made good money. That was we did it for 5 years. The city bought it, and we did it with the city for 5 years. And so reffing was way more beneficial. And again, I was one of the first cats that was doing reffing full time, like work reffed every day, a couple times a day. I made it a full-time hustle wherever people started jumping on it like I was doing it. Because the way, again, in Michigan, up until about 14 years ago, Michigan women played hoops in the fall. And volleyball played, it's actually opposite. And volleyball played in the winter in Michigan. So you could do football and girls basketball. Every day, it was like every day doing a couple, and in the weekends too. Little boy football, I made a killing. Like we would do 10 games, I would make a killing. Like I was saying about this little Catholic school we did, that Catholic school alone, we would do about 4,000 just from that school alone. We would do their varsity basketball, their JV basketball, boys and girls, and then do if they had volleyball. Some years they had volleyball, some years they didn't. But we would just that school by itself, we would get about $4,000. $4,000 just reffing. No taxes. So yeah, I can't really say about that cat. So, but it was a hustle, it was a hustle. It was a hustle meeting these people, traveling, meeting people, hey, I need you to come here. I need you to come there. And actually I had really, I probably would have been a replacement official when the NFL officials went on strike. I definitely would have been a replacement official because before I moved here, before they tried to kill me, I was doing I had a crew of junior college, or not junior college, of the small colleges in Michigan, like Hillsdale, Allegan, Kalamazoo. I was on a crew. I was running a crew to start that. And that's where they was pulling from because the big college people wasn't giving up their money to go do NFL temporarily. So they was pulling from Division II, Division III refs. And so I'd have been right in line for that. And some of them dudes got jobs. I checked out your video with Kid Cudi. I wonder how Kanye feel knowing he was closely collaborating with him. Well, they know. They all know. They know what it takes. They all see the rules. They see how they can bring you up or put you down. They see how they can keep you relevant. They'll give you a little Grammy to keep your name out there, even though you ain't getting the publicity. So, that's how they do it. And it's the price of fame is hell, y'all. It's better to be unnoticed. Some people was like, oh, you come on here so you get noticed. Not really. This ain't gonna get me off. This is not going to get me having people knock on my door over shit. They try to fuck with me other ways, but I go through it all. Oh, I didn't put all the shit up. I didn't put it all up. Oh, let me see. I don't know. This is a little short thing that was so funny. In that TV movie Chad, he was telling people how he had sex. He was talking about he had sex in the summertime. But one funny thing he put out there is like, I had sex and then I spit on her butt. That shit was kind of funny. Lady in jacket. I don't remember this. Well, okay. Let me do the divination, which I believe we are 13 cartoons, 0 batoons. Wait, 13 batoons, 0 cartoons. We should be at 8 tunes, and we should be at 7 unos. Oh, okay. We should be at 7 unos, and we should be at 13 kin. Yeah. 13 kin. Why do you think boxing is firing out? What? Firing out? Boxing? I'm not trying to bring boxing. MMA as past boxing. Like my son and I were talking about like the Gracie family. And the Gracie family, the one Gracie is, I think he's my brother's age. He's 50. But no, 55. He's 55. But I was talking, there's a cat named Dan Severson that was out of Michigan. And I don't remember what it was called, but it was, I don't think it was MMA. I don't think it was called that. It was something else, but it was the same sport. It was a sport where you could fight or you could grapple. And the very first time they put somebody on, it was this Gracie, and Gracies go back about, like, he's a little younger than me, but they was talking about going back in the 1800s of grappling was how long these Brazilians been grappling. And so the very first fight they put with that genre, with that kind of fighting where you could punch, kick, or grapple was with Gracie with somebody. And what happened was once the fight started, I don't remember it being rounds. It was like they fought and then he went to the mat and that was the rest of the fight. I don't remember it being rounds. It was like once it got started, they just fought. Could be mistaken. But the majority of the fight was just grappling. And grappling is boring just to see them there. And especially if you got a dude and he ain't really submitted. And maybe it did have rounds, but it just seemed like he just had the guy submitted for minutes. And so it was very boring. And then I remember Severson, one place where I used to ref and hoop was Coldwater. That's where he was from, where he worked out. And I remember he had messed his knee up. So he was kind of back at this rec place trying to get his knee strong enough. And then he went in there and tried to fight. And sure enough, they went after his bad leg and he ended up having to quit. But that was called something else. And that was in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't remember what affiliate it was, but it was very boring. The Gracies jumped a guy that beat one of their elders. I got to find the link. Yeah, Rocky, my son was saying that one dude was called the Gracie Hunter. His nickname was the Gracie Hunter. Dan Severn. Yeah, Rocky, Dan Severn. Yep. Typo dying out. Yeah, well, part of what's killed boxing is the corruption. Like Don King being in control killed it. We saw the drops that like Ali, like really boxing was a thing when Ali was champion. And it really didn't die out. But when Ali quit, they tried to get it through Sugar Ray. They tried to keep that alive. That's why they had Sugar Ray beat Hagler, just personality. And then that's why they loved Tyson and they fixed fights for Tyson. But once Tyson quit, Holyfield wasn't, nobody didn't really care about him that much. What's the big brother from Jamaica? Nobody really cared about him. Then they did the shame ritual, putting Tyson in jail, and then had that cat beat up Tyson, where all of a sudden he feels he can fight again. But those cats, and then when the Russians had the heavyweight title, nobody cared. I mean, it killed boxing because nobody cared about these cats. These cats wasn't like Ali used to say, those cats wasn't bringing any gates. So you see even wrestling being more popular. Wrestling on every week. Friday Night SmackDown is every week. Now they took wrestling or boxing for a while off ESPN. Now it's coming back. ESPN, Fox, Showtime has always been a big thing of boxing. And so that's why Fury fight, that was one of the biggest fights that's been in years. When the Fury fight fought Dude, and however they fixed that fight. And that's why the brother at the thing said, I hope you like the show. And that was absolutely what it was. It was a show. But that fight built up a lot of anticipation. It was one of the most anticipated fights in recent memory. And so I don't understand why the other fight wouldn't have been as exciting. But people saying the way he beat him and everything. But again, boxing has been so fixed. It's like when Joshua lost to Ruiz. That was nothing but Joe Frazier and Foreman fight. That's what that fight was. It was nothing but Joe Frazier and Foreman. Same exact thing. Frazier got knocked down 6 times. Didn't Joshua get knocked down about 6 times? I mean, it was a repeat. So if you watch this stuff long enough, you see the scripts. And then, of course, Joshua came back, and Joe Frazier never beat Foreman. Joe Frazier was pretty much through after that first Ali fight. He never was a champion after that fight. That's why sometimes when you win, you really lose. He took such a beating that fight was his career, that he never fought well again. In the Thriller of Manila, he didn't really fight well. He 2 washed up dudes who wasn't really in prime fighting condition. Second one is great because but you can see Joe's lack of skill even in the second fight. Where Ali then months got better building up to the second fight. Again, Joe had got knocked out, but you just see that Joe didn't have it anymore. And the ref stopped Ali from knocking Joe out in the second round. But yeah, I knew Big Dan Severn. In your opinion, which sport has the best athletes? Football. Football by far. The best athletes come out of football. You have speed, you have agility, strength. Now, you have a lot of football players that could play basketball and played basketball in high school and intramural college. You don't see many, you don't see hoopers. Like look at Hooper. Like take Anthony. Anthony and Davis. I'll say Davis and Anthony are both just basketball players. You couldn't see these cats doing anything else. They're not very athletic. Neither one are very athletic cats. Carmelo's never been an athletic dude. He was a basketball player. Same way like George McGinnis. I know it's an old name, but he was just a basketball player. He wasn't a good athlete. When his athleticism died, his game was done. See, a good athlete would adjust. But when you smoke a cigarette and drink a beer after every practice, that doesn't help either. Holy was juiced to his damn eyeballs. Yeah, I tend to believe that too. Wrestling is everywhere. I mean, pro wrestling. We have here, we have like wrestling was big here. Wrestling was very regional. So Hawk was here. It's a bunch of them was here. My neighbors, remember the Iron Sheik? That was her daddy. My neighbor downstairs, that's the Fiend. Yeah, that the Iron Sheik was her daddy. I met her. That cat lived here. The Iron Sheik lived here. But that was her dad, and but it was very very territorial. You know, you had sections of wrestling like Bubba Brazil. Ernie Ladd would come into Michigan, but Bubba fought basically in the Michigan area. So you had a group of like Joe Louis would go around and ref, you know, in different wrestling events. Joe Louis wrestled a little bit. Joe was, you know, when they was fucking with Joe, trying to take his loot. Joe, that's why Joe fought Rocky Marciano, but that was building up Rocky Marciano. Wrestling hasn't been the same since the WCW invasion storyline into the WWF 20 years ago. I don't know. I think the numbers, if you look at the numbers, they kill it. Iron Sheik was infecting people with hepatitis C. Oh, okay. Okay. We had Jerry Lawler. Okay, James. My brother said he's watching vintage pro wrestling promotions on Facebook. Yeah, it was very, very sectional, and everyone had their set of wrestlers that you watched on local TV. But we even have here, like now, when some of the programming gets slow, they throw the local wrestling here, and it's at one of the high schools, and it's people be in there. I mean, more people before COVID, but it was people in there supporting the shit. I mean, the shit's on TV with commercials, so somebody's supporting it. And I mean, it's just local motherfuckers in there wrestling, but the same, you know, same people. Jeff Jarrett, Bill Dundee, Wildfire, Tommy Rich. So that's a thing for everybody. Everybody, you know, that's past 30, probably 40 experienced. You know, it's never went away. And it just because they I was supposed to write my definition. Just because they showed that they were fixed and they never went away. So I believe we are up to 13, right? 13. And one night I might do some readings. I might read some people one night just to get practice. Because I'm not bad at reading myself. I got all these cards and haven't really read anybody lately. So I probably might do that one night. All right, 13 is Ben Skywalker, Pillars of Heaven and Earth, Aspirations for Uniting Heaven and Earth, Principle of Growth, Higher Mind, and we are at a new direction. Now, this is what's, maybe I don't say this enough, but like every time it goes back to when you have a reset like this, where it's going back to the east, you have a little bit of energy from each direction. So a lot of times you could look at that east as a reset. So if you wanted to take it as being in the center, you kind of could, and you could get all four energies. So maybe I don't say that enough, but like if you really deal with energy or directional energies, you could take this reset and say you put the reset and put yourself in the center, and you know you would get all four directions, a little push for all four directions. So that is the glyph and the Mayan. And again, look, this ain't found everywhere. These people ain't really found. I don't buy it that they done found these bodies. I ain't buying that. Now, there's a few omen bodies they found here and there, but not enough to get DNA. That's some bullshit. But if you want to believe that for your agenda, that's on you. I think that's misinformation, though. I don't trust these people when they talking about DNA. So these people these people are too old. Now, yes, you can say the omen went into the Mayan. You can follow that. This shows that. This picture on here shows that. This is coming out of the omen, the jaguar, and going into Quetzalcoatl. But it kind of dies after then. You can't really look at Mayan and say Mayan turned into, well, yeah, I guess you could say somewhat the Toltec, but they still precede the Toltec by many years, and you can't find a direct connection like I've just mentioned, where these people studied under these people. No, maybe the same gods, but they ain't studied under them. It's too big a pattern. So again, if you want to put out misinformation for your agenda, that's on you. I ain't mad at you, but that is on you. That's on you. If you want to put out your information just to slant your thing, that's something you got to face. I don't say my shit with a slant. My brother said he's watching Vintage Pro. Jim Jarrett was out of Tennessee. Oh, okay. What book is that? Hey, Sovereign Queen, thank you for joining me. This is the Mayan Factor. This started kind of when after I got the Time Walking Papers, I got this book. Matter of fact, no, I got another one before this one, but this one I look at every day. And of course, this is the Toltec Oracle. I could read off of these, give people's readings off of these. I don't even give out the God cards. I had a God card back there I was going to read one night. I just never get to it. So this card is called Akato, or reed. In this image, we see the reed as Mother Earth protecting the human being. She is dressed in the quasal bird to represent the beauty of nature. On top, we see a reed that has been used to build a ceremonial arrow. The reed is the plant that starts its life being small and fragile, but later becomes a strong, long pole. Even though in that initial stage the reed may seem weak, the potency of igniting fire is always there. It will grow, become stronger, and eventually it will provide light through burning. The other source of the reed's strength comes from its flexibility. If the reed was too rigid, strong winds would break it. Your life can be seen as being much like the reeds at the beginning, or even at this moment in your life, which is the beginning of what you have left to live. You may not seem too strong, but your inner fire is there waiting for you to release it. Think about the words of the ancient poet Prince. The human being is just like the wood. It only gives light when it is burning. This is telling you that the best of you will only come out and illuminate the world when you are able to put all your passion in doing something you really care about. Do not forget that the fire is there within you all the time, just waiting for you to know what your passion is and your willingness to embrace. But your strength would become nothing in an instant if you were not able to nurture it and sustain it with some level of flexibility. The hallmark of the reed is to strengthen with flexibility. That is why it prevails. The reed card is inviting you to visualize a situation you are going through as facing the strength of the wind. If you are too rigid in your approach, you can break, meaning that no good will come out of the situation. So if anyone can use that information of being flexible, the way you go through life, I hope that helps. So in a day or so, I might do some readings myself. It was Abdullah the Butcher. Oh, okay, Valerie. I couldn't say yay or nay. I couldn't say yay or nay. I didn't know. I was Abdullah the Butcher. I couldn't say yay or nay because I really didn't know. So that's all right, Valerie. That is all right. But it's like everything you study, research, you have to be flexible because that's the point of researching. And it's not that you're looking for anything. It's that, like me, I like to read. I like to read and study about different things. Now, I do like to narrow my reading, yes, but it's not like I'm looking to get my mind blown. So there's nothing wrong with researching. I mean, I think that could last a lifetime to just research and just get bliss from having to research. A lot of stuff I study, I don't bring on here and I don't talk about, but it's just things that I enjoy. Like I do a lot of studying dreams. Every once in a while, someone has a dream, I'll try to interpret it, but it's not something I do all the time. But I study it. I study it all the time. What do you think of Watershaw and Queen Versailles, who have ancient going back to the Louisiana Purchase? Well, I mean, I think I can say the same thing. The area of Boston where we come from, we pretty much are into the 1400s with my Ampey family. So that's well before. We have the names. I mean, my brother is one of the best researchers, period. And he found all the names of our people. And as Sister Phoenix says, she says, once you find a name, you can go back 4 generations. You get that. You get 4 generations from that. So we've got people back to the 1400s. And the beautiful thing, like we discovered, and I know Turtle Gang took a lot of hell for this, saying that Lenape had came from other parts. But that was common for people to just move around. You know, I went with the ancestors from North Carolina, Virginia, into the Ohio Valley where the mounds are. That wasn't unnatural for them to spend maybe 20, 30 years once you make that move and then go back. Same thing can be talked about up and down the coast. And that's one part of those woodland coastal Indians is they was boat people. So it wasn't just the Moors that was boat people. These people lived on the ocean. These people chased whales and shit. So for them to go all the way around to Europe was, yeah, they did that shit too. So that Viking shit trying to make you think Vikings discovered Iceland is some bullshit. And remember about the Vikings was a culture. Vikings wasn't a people. It was a culture practiced. So there was melanated Vikings. It ain't just them blonde-haired, blue-eyed people they try to show you on the movies. It was a culture practiced. But you know how they do it. They whitewash history. I love reading. Even the cross-reference comes, and I always leads to something I need to know. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, that's me. Like I bought these little books. I'll show them again. These little crystal books. This is nothing deep. You know, this is nothing deep or mind-blowing. You know, this is nothing mind-blowing or deep. I read through some, and some are a little off in their description, but it's newer, fresher information with a fresh mind. You know, some of these other books is older stuff, but these is come fresh mind. So, you know, it's cool to hear what new information, if any, to have this new look on it, new possibilities, and just simple things that I figure my daughter could read too. That's kind of what I had in mind. Like, here's some crystal books that she can kind of deal with. So, me too. I thought Vikings was Berexers. I thought Vikings were Berexers. Well, what I have found in my research is that they were actually a culture that a lot of different regions practiced. A lot of different regions practiced what we would call the Viking culture. So it wasn't just one culture that practiced it. It was several cultures that practiced that. So the raiding and all that, I mean, the culture together did that. This was part of the culture. Remember, the Vikings was up in London for what, 10 years or longer? When they invaded all the way to London, they had that shit, London Bridge is falling down. So this was a culture of people. So you'd find a lot of different names of people that practice that culture. Because what they found countries that there wasn't marauders and stuff, but still they're seeing the culture there of what the Viking is called. So not all of them was trying to jack people. But if you have some knowing, please share it. What do you think about all those NFL draft experts overhyping Trevor Lawrence for the upcoming draft? That's their job, to have you sucker into the thing. I mean, look at how much they talked about Joe Burrow, and then we see him purposely get hurt. Now, I don't know if he wasn't following code. I don't know what he did, but when your own man throws you back, throws his man throws his assignment into you and into your leg, he did something not up to code. I can't really think of a rookie that got hurt like that in a long time. So you get jealous people because they know you got a bunch of dough. You got linemen that they might not. What you got is your bonus. Linemen might not make that in a career. And one thing that hurt the NFL is the linemen bitching from 20 years ago hurt the new rookies coming in, and they gave them slave contracts. I mean, you sign your rookie deal for 4 to 5 years, and then they can franchise you, so you can give them your best years, and then they want to talk shit if you become a free agent. But it's like it's a slavery contract. Almost all NFL contracts to start off as a slavery contract. Baseball is even worse because they can keep you in the minor leagues forever. They can keep you in the minor leagues. You can play up to so many games. They can send you down for a day, then bring you back up. And as far as your free agency, it will push it back another year. That's how dirty they can do you. It's a lot of brothers, Dominicans, South Americans, Islanders that just their whole career is in the freaking minors. Now, minor leagues, you can make good money. You can make $1 million a year in minor leagues, but some of these cats, get lost down there. And again, they are locked into their contracts. They're locked into the rookie contracts. So you wonder, like Albert Pujols, I think is his name, lied about his age. He lied about his age. So now this cat is much older and breaking down, but they were like, well, damn, he got to be about 50, and we thought he was 45. So these experts ain't experts. But what they do is they get paid to grade these people, and all these other people say, well, we'll kind of go by that. Well, most teams do that shit. They only for TV. The people in the league don't need them. They don't go by them. Well, it's just part of the hype. It's part of the hype. They do their own work. They got their own scouts. So they hyping up Zach Wilson. Yeah, just saw the dress video, though. What the hell is wrong with Hollywood? Yep. They were trying to hype up TiVo. Well, TiVo's flaws was obvious. His flaws was obvious. But they let him down. They really let TiVo down in college. They did. They didn't help him. They didn't do anything to help him. But then they break people. Carr. So it's Derek Carr. His brother was the first pick in the draft. And they broke him. They made him change all his mechanics. And he didn't have bad mechanics coming in. But they fucked him up. David Carr. Derek and David. So David Carr. They fucked him all up. Changed all his mechanics. And then, a new team, new franchise. Again, you ain't going to get the best players. But they fucked him all up. And then blamed him, saying he wasn't good. He didn't put good people around him. There's what happened to Earl Thomas. He wanted to get paid, but they left him out like trash. Well, yeah, Earl broke his leg, in his contract year. He ended up breaking his leg. That's why when he got hurt, he gave them the finger, because that's why they let him go too. But yeah. Flavor Flav plays the role of Little Boosie. I think he's too old. Flavor's older than me. Flavor's got to be 63, 64. Like Ice-T is older than me. Yeah, Ice-T is older than me. Darlene is younger, but Ice-T's over. Tebow was a winner, but they didn't like their religious stuff. I don't know, read my soul. Tebow couldn't pass. He really couldn't. He couldn't pass. And that I blame his high school coaches, and I blame his college coaches. Myers. I blame Myers, because they did not help that young man. They did not set that young man up for success. Again, he was a bigger dude, running over little people, passed enough, but not passed critically in a pro offense. So they hurt him. His coaches hurt him. They did give David a Super Bowl out of it. What is the backup? That's right. He might have got a backup Super Bowl out of it. That's right. They did give him a Super Bowl out of it. I think he backed up somebody and got a ring. So some of these coaches mess people up. And then they want to call them a flop. It's like, look at what they did to Texas. Trading away the best player, got Hopkins for nothing. It's like what they did with Harding now. Trading the people away they got for Harding. They got nothing for Harding. In a real world, where is that? Where do you do that in a real world? You get rid of your best player. You get maybe not equal, but still a decent dude who always gets hurt. And then you get rid of him. What are you telling your fans? What are you telling your players? You're like, you want to lose? And the NBA is so messed up because of people saying people was losing to get best players. And so they were showing you it was fixed. And then Stern comes up with a situation where, see, it's not fixed, but then they freeze a letter that got to, so Patrick Ewing can go to the Knicks, because the Knicks, despite the Knicks losing, Before COVID, they were the most popular. People think Dallas is the most popular franchise. It was the Knicks. Knicks ain't won in what, since 75? Couldn't tell you the last time they was in the playoffs, but they was the most. So it didn't matter if they won or lost. Just like Detroit Lions, doesn't matter if they ever win the Super Bowl, which they never will. Detroit Lions will never win the Super Bowl. What do you really think is going on with Watson? He wasn't good at football, but he was a leader. I'll give you that. Teddy Bridgewater's gruesome injury, yeah, almost killed him. That tight end at the Bears, he had the same kind of injury where it ripped that artery. He stood wrong, and it ripped the artery. Almost killed him. Watson, they gave him all that money, and now they're coming after him. But again, I don't see the criminal charges pressed. So once they press criminal charges, then we'll see. But right now, they're just going after money. But it might be enough to get him suspended. That Rob Johnson guy who stole Doug Flutie's spot in Buffalo got a Super Bowl ring with Tampa. So did what was his name that played with Baltimore? Baltimore's first one. That dude got a ring, and he was a sucker. He was never a good player. Adam Silver is the blame. He makes it more obvious. Adam Silver is to blame. Yeah, he does. It was like we were saying with Chris Paul. Again, most people get commercials is people that win. Chris Paul ain't never won. And yet he's got a running commercial for 6-7 years. But you look at it, they wouldn't let Chris Paul go to the Lakers, but they let him go to the Clippers. When David Stern was running, it was a conflict of interest because the NBA took over the Utah or the New Orleans franchise. They took them over before they moved to OKC. They took over that franchise. So that's a conflict of interest. If you are running the NBA as commissioner and yet you're running a team, how can you say yay or nay on what the owners who were at the owners at the time? Shouldn't it showed you they were trying to go against the script. I think the Rockets went on a 20-game losing streak. How does that happen? Exactly. Trent Dilfer. So Rob Johnson, because remember, Rob Johnson was here. And I'll tell you, Rob Johnson was here. And after Detroit gave Andre Ware all that money, Andre Ware is a broadcaster now, I think for the Big 12, won the Heisman. He came here to the Vikings. Andre Ware played well in the playoffs. He played well, and Denny Green cut him, kept Johnson as the backup. I don't know if it was Culpepper, whoever was here, but Andre Ware played well. I was surprised when they kept Johnson, and they pushed Andre Ware out the league. Chris Paul ain't Chelsea business. Oh, they trying to push Chris Paul to be you see, Kelly Oubre. Yeah, I saw him. He got a commercial, but be playing for being out in LA. Being out in California. You seen them California guys get them kind of commercials. Chris Paul, no, he's not good as Chauncey. No, he's not. But yeah, Dilfer was bad. 16, do you see the dislike Curry when he had that ghost season? Do you like or dislike Curry? It was just too unbelievable. It was too unbelievable. And the way they did it, you could see the script. The script was for them to be up 30 by halftime. And that's what you saw. Be up 30 by halftime. He making every shot from half court. And they up 30 at halftime. So they wasn't even playing in the fourth quarter. That was the script they ran. Almost every time you saw them on TV, they are blowing teams out by 30 at halftime. When have you ever seen that in pro basketball? When? Never. Never in the history of basketball had that happen, or is it going to happen again? That they were that good that every night they could beat every team by 30 because he's making almost 1 out of 2 from half court. And that's how they had the script for that dude. He could just throw it anywhere. He could have thrown it behind his head from half court and consistently made it. That is how it looked watching that season. It was those 2 seasons they let him. That is how Globetrotter. That was the most Globetrotter looking basketball ever. And people believed that he was this super dude. It was the worst basketball of all time, in my opinion. Those 2 seasons he won was the worst basketball ever of seeing a scripted play. There was no, there was nothing honest looking about it. At least it should look like it's honest. Those 2 years, it wasn't honest. Again, that was their format. Have them up by 30 in the first half. So it was almost impossible for a team to come back. They ain't got to play in the fourth quarter. That was the script. That was a script. Fake Kobe should have had 2 more titles with CP3. Could have. Fake Kobe. You got robbed in '98 season, but Vikings would have still lost Super Bowl 34 to the Broncos because it was John Elway's go away party. That would have been a hard script for them to pull, though. The Vikings had the best defense and they had a hell of the best offense. And again, it wasn't the field goal that Anderson missed. It was the touchdown that Randall Cunningham looked like he threw short on purpose. I think he threw it short and got intercepted. But Randy Moss had the game-winning touchdown. That was the game there. It wasn't the field goal. They had him beat. And all of a sudden, he can't throw a deep ball. You know, to Randy Moss, you throw it long. And he threw it short. And Randy Moss had the guy by 6-7 yards. And I think he threw an air ball and a duck, as they call it, got intercepted. They would have beat the Broncos. But again, it was scripted for Elway, I agree. Because Elway lost 4 Super Bowls. I think 2. Elway lost. Shit, Elway might have lost 5 Super Bowls. I think Elway went to the Super Bowl. See, he lost to Washington. Trying to think. I think Elway lost 4 Super Bowls too before he won 2. He got blowed out. That was how the Super Bowls was. Look at when the Redskins beat Elway. Doug Williams gets hurt and then comes back and throws like 4 touchdowns in the first half. Couldn't have been more fixed. Well, thank you, CJ. 8 win. That sacrifice, do you think that Mark Jackson turned down or didn't go along for him, the Golden State teams? You know, like Jackson, the problem with Jackson was Jackson didn't know where being a Christian started and coach ended. I mean, it was hard for him to do both. And so he got slapped down for Christian and everybody. I'm a proud Christian and we're going to pray after every practice. Well, that's not professional. That's bringing your beliefs in something. Now, football, you know, my coach read the I walk through the shadow of death because football is somewhere you can get your neck broke or your knee blowed out. But the average basketball game, that's not really going to happen. You're not really going to get hurt like that. It's just not life and death like football can give you. And so he was trying to put all that in, and they got tired of that. And they even tried to say, rain it down. He didn't do it. So they spanked him because of that. He didn't adjust. Another one they did was what's the linebacker that was the coach for the 49ers? Same way, trying to, you know, wearing the cross and shit. And then, you know, they let the Pittsburgh coach now, he gets to wear the cross. But Singletary was the first dude wearing the cross. And they was getting on him for wearing that shit. And then now the Pittsburgh coach he wears a gold cross. So, Escalade did get, Mm-hmm. What's wrong with Clay? I never cared much for him. I'll answer that. Let me see. You must be talking about Curry, the Magnets. Yeah, the Magnets with Curry all the time. Warriors had the luckiest dynasty of all basketball teams. They sure did. I answered this first with PJ. Yeah, Escalade was sacrificed. But, I mean, Escalade was an easy mark. You could see that coming. Like even watching his career where he lost a little weight once he went to Louisville, it's something in him where he just couldn't control it. So it was easy to sacrifice a guy like that. Easy to sacrifice him because you'd have thought as much as this guy worked out and, you know, he just didn't dedicate himself to working out and then staying, you know. But Clay, I don't know. That's an interesting one with Clay. They fake injuries before. I really didn't believe Clay was hurt. Now, the milk commercial he did showed the full surgery, which is, you know, the zipper down your kneecap. That's full surgery. That ain't orthoscopic. Most surgery can be done with orthoscopic. And when they do orthoscopic surgery on you, let me see if I can lift my leg up. When they do orthoscopic surgery on you, they generally come in here and then they put the camera here. or like in here. So it's like you got two entry points here, and then the camera's going here. And then the cutter and everything that cuts out the bad or takes out the bad is all, or it's in the back, you have in your MCL. But like you can't even see my scars anymore. But what Clay had is full surgery. When they have like not just orthoscopic repair, you see a zipper like this. And he had that. Could it be fake? Yeah. So MCL, like, let me see. ACL here. But like they open your leg up. And so that's full surgery. And then what happens is, it's like when I first had my knee done, I didn't go through therapy. I kept twisting my ankle because I didn't make my leg strong enough. And that could have been the thing with Clay. I mean, Achilles is a hard thing to kind of understand. Like me, I had worked out an hour before I tore mine. So I didn't do anything different. So Clay isn't marketable. Clay seems somewhat autistic too. I'll say that about him. He's not a lot of personalities. Like I caught his acting. One thing he's like, forget it, He was like, but I caught him acting like that. And then when he was acting like he was mean or mad in the game, he was doing that same kind of acting. But I caught him doing that thing in the All-Star game, like, oh, get out of here, get out of here. And I caught him in a game trying to be mad, doing that to the ref. And I'm like, look at his acting. He doesn't even know how to change his acting to the situation. So yeah, Clay is very dry. Also, the Chiefs are the 1960-83 Redskins, 42-2, just like the Redskins lost 38-9 to the Raiders and beat Miami the year before. Yeah. And remember, the thing that won it for the Redskins was a missed tackle on John Riggins. Remember the safety? It was just a simple sweep. And the DB, he tackles Riggins and Riggins like shoves him to the ground. That was the game right there. Riggins runs up the sideline. One of the guy I played against, Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown played in that He played with that Redskins team. He was from South Carolina State. That was his name, Charlie Brown, like the cartoon character. I believe all the big plays for the Golden State had to pay a price for their championship. My opinion, Steph, Clay, yeah. Elway Super Bowl loss of Super Bowl 21 to the Giants, Super Bowl 22 to the Giants, and Super Bowl 24 to the 49ers. Elway lost to the Redskins, too. Lorenzo, he lost to the Redskins. That's who Doug Williams beat, pretty sure. Whichever Super Bowl Doug Williams won. So he says lost to the Giants. Wait a minute. Giants twice. And lost to the 49ers. I think he lost to the Redskins. Could be wrong. I tore a PCI in a workout accident. Oh. PCI. I'm not sure what that is, PJ. What do you think of the new Space Jam? Will it be good? And the other one was entertainment. I mean, it was entertainment. Looney Tunes shit is always fun. So it'll be well done. It'll be funny. It'll be cool to watch. It'll be family friendly, hoop kind of thing, anime kind of meshing with keeping the idea of what Jordan did. Jordan was fun to watch. I mean, I've watched it more than once, all the marketing that went into it. My guys had the Jordan dials for years, and that shit's worth money now. You kept any of that Jordan Space Jam stuff, that stuff is pretty resellable. So if you kept all that stuff, and for a long time I did, but I remember one of the boys took we had the Jordan. I had a couple of different kinds. And I remember one that was the most valuable, the boys that took the clothes off it. So I found it. I'm like, fuck, they took the clothes off it. Because it was a hard plastic one, but the one that seemed like was worth the most was a sewed together one, a sewed dial. And that one was missing clothes too. So boys was in the thing. Our girls would get the Barbies and just take the clothes off and the doll be naked. I hated that kind of thing. Like, why you do that? Bengals the only team who pushed 80s 49ers to 11 in the Super Bowl. King, the Bengals had them beat. The dude intercepted and just dropped it. The play before the game winner to Wilson, I can't think of his number. It was 22 or 24, but he dropped the ball. He intercepted and he just dropped it. Joe Montana threw it right to him. Might have been second down. Joe Montana threw it right to him, a bad read, and the guy dropped it. In the end zone would have won the game for the Bengals. He drops it on purpose. to give Joe Montana a Super Bowl. Remember the Giants when they won their first Super Bowl? One dude tips it, the tight end, I can't think of it. He was out of Notre Dame. He tips it, and the little dude from Navy catches it in the end zone. Remember that play? That looked like some Three Stooges shit. New Space Jam is that Don Cheeto? That is Don Cheeto. Yep, playing the me or the my. That is him. Yep, that is Don Cheeto. My Bengals. Bengals should have won that Super Bowl you talking about. Yeah, I mean, that dude catches the ball, they win. They get the ball back. They didn't have any timeouts. They run the game out. They had him. He drops the ball on purpose. I don't even know if they show that play of him dropping the ball anymore. A lot of times they skip over that. Like when if you watch the Super Bowl where Brady beat Atlanta, they skip over first, second, third down that put them out of range. They go from first down, and they show the third down play. And again, if you can see the game, if they catch the game, I want to tape the game of that sequence. All you need, you in field goal range, and not only do you run, you've been running it down their neck the whole first half. They can't stop the run. And then all of a sudden, you come in field goal range and you run spread. Not only do you run spread, you run no huddle spread. So you're not taking any time off the clock passing the ball. Not taking any, and then your third down play, after not gaining any yards, you drop your quarterback back 11 yards. And that guy remember, Shanahan is out in fucking San Francisco's coach. The person that called that play. Third down, you're still in field goal range, and you call a play that puts you out of field goal range. No one does that. No one does that. Remember that? And then you see how he got rewarded. He got hired to San Francisco. Damn, if I would have hired a coach after that kind of shit. Damn, that was some bullshit. Yeah, they should have. Bengals should have won. I mean, the Redskins are Super Bowl 22, so he lost 3 before. The Broncos, they won their first. So he lost 3, okay. I mean, the Redskins in Super, okay, so he lost 3, and then he won 2. Yep, okay, Lorenzo, yeah, I thought so, yeah. I knew he lost a few. And they were blown out. Yeah, he lost 3 in blowouts. Man, they should have. Montana Rice were great. Yeah, he was. So was Steve Young. Steve Young in Montana was great. They gave the Super Bowl against the Falcons to Brady in plain sight. Yeah, that was bad. That was worse than the Tuck rule. The NFL never lets teams that are led by wide receivers win Super Bowls. Moss, Fitzgerald, Carter. You can put in the greatest show on turf. They won 1, but they didn't win the second one. Yep. NFL hated the Raiders. At least they had 3 Super Bowls. Yeah, and actually they should have won a 4th because they had Brady in them beat. I mean, if you don't think the NFL is rigged, just watch the Tuck rule. I mean, Atlanta Super Bowl shows you too, but the Tuck rule shows you pretty much plain sight that it's fixed because this guy fumbles and Goodell was not the commissioner. He came up with that rule. He looked his ass and be like, how, guys, what are we going to do? We can't let Al Davis get in there because they'll win this shit. They won't let it scripted. So Goodell made the Tuck rule up. He came, and it was never used. It is not a rule. It wasn't even a rule then. And then the next day they had people, one dude contradicted himself, and they put him on the spot. And it was like, isn't that not a, damn, what the motherfucker that? Shit. Like, isn't this what you mean? It's illegal. And the ref was trying to choke on his words, but shows you. They do hate the Raiders. That thing on Al Davis, that 30 for 30 was interesting. I tore labrum and AC joint at work. Okay, Rocky. Okay, I dig it. Ooh, that's not fun. Chuck rule proves it, and the fact that the Patriots come out of nowhere and win 3 after 9/11. Well, 9/11 was why they won the first one. It was just like Katrina is why New Orleans won their only one. Patriots won it because of 9/11. Patriot, 9/11 went together, perfect scenario. But they wanted a European equivalent to Michael Jordan. That's what Brady has become. They wanted a European equivalent to Michael Jordan. They couldn't just let Michael be one of the greatest winners because people forget Bill Russell won 11. People forget Yogi Berra won 10. People forget Sam Jones won 8. Him and Casey Jones, I think, both won 8. People forget that kind of thing. So they just see, what have you done for me lately? Damn. What do you think about Deflategate? I don't know. Receivers want a softer ball. I've never known quarterbacks that did, though. Now, yeah, a slightly deflated ball is a little easier to grip, not necessarily easy to catch. Not necessarily easy to catch, especially when it's cold and the ball is a little soft. Yeah, it's hard to. Now, again, I'm going to say with the gloves and everything, yes, but just as a receiver working with gloves without the magnetics, you don't necessarily, you want a harder ball. You don't necessarily want the softer ball. It's easier to stop, because if you just think about it like this, the ball is deflated enough, it's easier to stop and just flexing your hands open. But when the ball is slightly soft, not only do you have to flex, you have to squeeze. So it's not enough. So you don't just flex, but you have to flex and you have to squeeze. And a lot of cats try it too quick. You know, you try to do the squeeze quicker than you should, and you'll fumble the ball. You'll bobble the ball because you try to do it, because it's really, you got to do it in a certain way. You got to catch it and then tighten down on it. And if that timing gets off and you stop it and then you try to squeeze it too soon, you could fumble the ball. So you kind of, I'll prefer stiffer balls. I prefer stiffer balls. And I think most receivers would have too. Yeah, they say the pressure's on Belichick, but I think they're going to put Belichick through. I really do. Because they want to make him the super coach. They'll shame me. They shamed him last year. I don't think they're going to keep shaming him. I don't know if they're going to let Cam go through, but it wouldn't be surprised me if they did. Cam has done everything to go through. Cam has wore the mammy, the head scarf. They got a commercial of another dude doing it. So I wouldn't be surprised they put Cam through. That Stephen Diggs catch versus the Saints was the most ridiculous. It was. I agree. Abdul-Jabbar won 6. Yes, he did. He won 1 with the Bucks and 5 with Magic. Magic never won without Kareem. There you go, James. We're going to make money off him. Robert Ory won 7. He did. But I think Sam and Casey Jones both won 8 or 9. Belichick will be in the Super Bowl. I think so, too. Robert Hurry made a career out of hitting championship buzzer beaters. They called him Big Shot Rob. They did. They called it at the right place at the right time. I was in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. At Dr. John. Cam won a national championship with Auburn. Yes, he did. So I wouldn't be surprised they slipped Cam in there. They re-signed him. They ain't re-signing him not to play him. And that brother ain't really lost nothing. I mean, the video they lose him out of the channel. I showed the video where one of the Watts brothers hurts his shoulder on purpose, injured him on purpose, and we see that. We see players all the time get injured on purpose. Patriots Cam have good numbers for this Super Bowl. I've been decoding them. Yeah, I've heard a few decoders say that. So that would not surprise me. Man, this weather is having to be dressed like this again. I got to pull my boots out maybe. Good sleeping weather, though. Good sleeping weather. I'll say that. And it's not cold enough to turn heat on. So good sleeping weather. My daughter went to bed 2 hours ago. She's like, I'm going to bed, Dad. I normally let her stay up later she wants. When she stays with me, I don't really care. She ain't got nothing to do tomorrow but hang out with me. And we already traveled, so we're not going back into town. Had a hell of a game before he got COVID-19. Yeah. He had a hell of a game before COVID. Yeah. So we'll see if it'll be back for him to be in the limelight again. That'll be interesting if he is. Not necessarily, but we'll see. It's like, looking at what they're going to do now, and we have to go by the ratings. That's why I changed my thing. Looking at the ratings, the highest rated game still been the Lakers and the Sixers. I want to see today. I'm going to look at today too. Lakers against Brooklyn to see how the ratings did, because that might be another thing to see how that ratings for that game. See if they won the hour. They didn't have. They weren't going against. They were only going against the Masters. No, the Masters were over, so they had a free slot. So it's going to be interesting. Anybody wants to look that up? I don't know. A lot of decoders don't talk about looking at the TV ratings because that's what you have to consider: is who is going to pay the most sponsorship for this game. In basketball, again, it's the Super Bowl is a lock. They're going to get, what is it, up to 5 or 10 million per commercial. So the Super Bowl is going to get that. But not the NBA is not guaranteed. They still kind of fighting for their money. So they want to see who's going to, if they go 5 games, who's going to bring in the most money. The bubble was messed up, so they didn't care last year. The bubble, they knew no matter who won, the ratings was going to be kind of low just because of the way it was done. Nobody bought into that bubble shit. Nobody bought into it. It didn't kill. What did one of the NBA playoff games lost to some bullshit? It was another event the same day, and it didn't match up. It got beat, and it was like one of the first times that the NBA final game didn't carry the night. But it was a couple of them nights where the NBA didn't carry the night. So they're going to be looking to try to rebound from that for their finals. So keep that in mind too. And that's why I want to see how this Brooklyn game, I'm going to look that up. If I can remind myself, I'll look that up before I come in tomorrow. If it's released, it might not be released till Monday. Might not know till Monday, but if it's released tomorrow, I'll try to look that up if I remember and I'll think about it. But I want to see how that game did in ratings, and that's going to give you a little preview. Because again, we had a Laker team go in there and beat them when Durant played. And then Kyrie did the fake getting kicked out. That was just fake getting kicked out. These cats know these refs. They see them multiple times. So what? All of a sudden, because YouTube was going. Now, last night's game with the Clippers was pretty rough game. With the Clippers and whoever they played, that was a pretty rough game. They got kind of personal. Beverly got kicked out at the end. Remember that? I don't know if I talked about that last night, but Beverly got kicked out at the end. Cam did have a car accident when he was with the Panthers. Yeah, Cam flipped in the car. Do you think that got him to get in line? Probably so. Probably so. It's like this Tiger thing ain't no accident. It is not an accident. There's no way this man is driving 45 miles down a place he's been before. If anybody knows some of those places out of LA and all them winding roads, and if this ain't the first time you've been there, somebody did something to that car. Because for that car to pick up speed, they're talking about, I mean, that car is not like they said that he might have accidentally, instead of hit the brake, hit the accelerator. The only way you would see that maybe if a person is clutching and shifting. But that car was automatic. So it's no way he accidentally didn't hit his brakes. That car was done. And whoever beat him up, because think about this. When Tiger was shamed, he was physically beat up. He started having all these issues all of a sudden after he came back. So whoever beat him up was a lesson to him. And I mean, they beat him where some of them injuries he got later was from that beating. And so he did something off code and they tried to kill Tiger. He did something off code and they tried to kill him. That car was again, we was talking about a 19 Navigator. My son has a friend that lives on the reservation. The Navigator damn near drive by itself. If you keep your finger on the wheel, it'll drive by itself. So you telling me that car that would do the same thing, Kia or one of those cars, Genesis, maybe it's a Kia Genesis wagon, that car would drive by itself? You know, it's easy to make the car that drive by itself zoom through some shit. And they tried to kill him. So he went off code. Mahomes is black. He's the next Favre. Rodgers. Well, maybe. Brooklyn versus 76ers rating should be high. Well, that'll tell you who they want to come out. Let me see. It may not be high ratings because LeBron and AD wasn't there plus Harden didn't play. But still, it's a lot of interest in both teams. And it was a lot of interest in both teams as a possible match. So even though they didn't play, the eyes would be put on that game to see the possibilities. But that's a good point. But I understand. But I still think Lakers, 76ers in finals. That's still, I was saying Utah, but Utah is just not killing it in the ratings. So it seems to me again the highest rating game going up to Christmas was the Lakers and Sixers, and then they played what 2 weeks ago and they won the night. So and that was without LeBron too, and they still won the night. Uh, he won't be in any more Super Bowls, Lawrence. But Joe in with the Bengals. I mean he's decent. So Favre, yeah, they took his dad and beat him down. Yeah, Pat. Yeah, Pat, you see Pat now. Like, look at Pat Mahomes Sr. now. He was not only was one of the best athletes, he was a very handsome man. Again, Pat is, I guess he's tall as my son. I don't remember him being 6'5", but a great athlete, but a very handsome man. You look at him now. Like when I saw him pitch the last time, you could see that he had been through it. But, I mean, he looks like Pat is what 50, 51? Pat look older than me. He looks older than me, but they say he's still a millionaire. So he's still a millionaire. And you can imagine the money he had to pay to mama. Just whatever he got, she got half of that shit. Baker going to appear in the Super Bowl in the next 2 years? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to ever put Cleveland through. I think they're still trying to kill Tiger. He must not be doing right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The Tiger thing revealed that they can get you driving data. Yeah, absolutely. Nets versus Clippers. I don't know. I think they're going to shame them again. Well, Mahomes will get more rings. 450 contract can't go to waste. That's a good point. I think the Browns got a Super Bowl soon too. I don't think so. Derek, I know. Mahomes ain't going. He's balls. What Black quarterback says more than won a Super Bowl as a starter. Yeah, they haven't. And you see how what they made Russell do. Made him throw that stupid play. Hell, if he'd have just threw it on time, he threw the ball late. If he threw it on time, it was a super touchdown. The dude was open. But Russell will show you, he's a sucker. Russell is a sucker. And he ain't big. He's big like that picture I showed my son. I got a brother. I have a brother and my son are built almost identical. They're the same height, the same jumping. My son probably jumps a little higher, but they're almost, if you see them, they're identical. Russell and my brother's same height, and my brother is shorter than my son. So my son is about 5'10". Yeah, Russell about 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there, 5'10". Maybe my brother's 5'10" too. It's been a while since I've seen him. So, but him and Russell, there's a picture of him like this, and they're about the same height. Maybe my brother's slightly taller. Over 500 dead. Okay, Charlie, I have to look that. I have to look that up. What could knock all those people out like that? It's funny how they're hyping up this thing with China too. They're really hyping up this thing with China. Talking about all the Chinese. There was CNN did a special, or one of them did a special. Maybe it was Fox. And they were showing all the bases. China's in the Indian Ocean. And I'll still say China's successful everywhere but in China. You got all them billions of people, and how many of them billion people are successful in China? These motherfuckers got to go to other countries to be successful, because that shit ain't letting a lot of people be successful. That shows where communism don't work. You got the thing communism was supposed to get rid of is bourgeoisie. Everything is for the people. You don't see that. You don't see that with China. You don't see that in China. They go other places where they can be rich. They ain't rich in China. The motherfuckers get the fuck out of China. Yeah, but the air is over. About what? Is he walking you home?
No, I'm walking myself.
How far?
Not too far.
Why ain't he walking you home? Huh? You live what, behind Zach?
No, I live by the townhomes, like way down there.
Okay. And he's not walking you home. Why?
I don't know.
You sure?
No, he's not.
Yes, not.
You better.
No.
It's 2:30, but she claims she lives up the street, so okay. Kid Cudi in a dress. Yes, Tiger Strong. Yeah, but the arrow, why do you think these past 2 years they keep saying things like year of the black quarterback? Yeah, that's a good point, Socia. Are getting most of the awards. Kid Cudi in the dress. He needs to walk her home. Yeah, Valerie does. They were just playing. Tom Brady beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That ain't over. Yeah. China got the most greenhouse gases they breathing in death. That's a good point, read my soul. That's a way to get rid of a lot of them. Rogers just got MVP. Yeah, he got MVP, but he didn't get the championship.
Oh, she already left.
She left. I don't know. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna cut it short. I do have a young one that's gonna wake up about 7, 8 o'clock talking about she's hungry.
What time is it?
It is 2:20 my time central. 2:20 central time. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining me. I don't know, maybe I'll go on. No. Maybe I can go on for a little longer. Yes, it's going to be interesting, how they script this thing, how they corrupt it, and how it's even corrupted at every level. High school coaches feel that they have so much power, and that's the problem. One thing, if anyone listens to me that you have high school children, when they have
This is mine.
when they have what is it? Oh, that is yours? Okay, I watched it. Natalie wasn't sure. But when they have boosters and stuff, you got to pay that money. There's no way to get around it. If you want your children and they got boosters in your children's sports, pay that stuff. Be a part of that.
What's a booster?
People that support the sports programs.
You never did that.
I did for Brennan. Me and Emily did out of Champlin. Yes, we did. We had to pay some money for that shit. But you got to do that kind of thing. So if you're faced with that, might give your child a little help. Might give your child a little help. Well, he's going to be in here bothering me, so I might as well stop. Of course, all sports corrupt. China wants to lead the new world. Well, I think they're going to let China lead the new world as well.
You want this?
No, I don't.
You like these?
They're okay. I don't want it right now. It's sprinkling water. What did you expect? Marcus Allen, the only player to win Heisman, National Championship, League MVP, Super Bowl MVP. Yes, he is. And look at what they did to Marcus Allen, though. They sat Marcus Allen for basically 2 seasons. When Bo Jackson came in, Marcus Allen is my age. Bo Jackson is 2 or 3 years younger. Al Davis tried to shame Marcus Allen, set him on the bench. That's why Marcus Allen won the Super Bowl as the Chief. And now, even though he never won a Super Bowl with the Chief, he won the Super Bowl with the Raiders, but he hated the Raiders because of how he was done. He was given a back seat when Bo Jackson came in there. And instead of them using both of them, which could have been very beneficial, because Marcus Allen was willing to block because he had blocked for a Heisman Trophy winner the year before he won the Heisman Trophy winner. He blocked for Charles White. Later played at Cleveland. So Marcus Allen would have worked with Bo Jackson. But instead, Al Davis, and maybe he was told to do this. He over contract, he benched Marcus Allen for about 2 seasons. And then they cut Marcus Allen and he went to the Chiefs, or they traded, I don't remember. But he was shamed for a couple years when he still had talent. He wasn't done when they sent him to the Chiefs. He wasn't done. Remember, he went to the Chiefs not long before Montana went to the Chiefs, and Montana never won it with the Chiefs. Yeah, all sports are correct. That's right, GR. Yep. Do you think the Lakers exposed the Nets? I did like one play where Kevin Garnett, didn't he block a dunk? I thought that was a telling play as well, that potential is there. Because, again, he's not fully in shape. So the potential is there. So that okay, he played a little big man role. I kind of like that. I did appreciate when I saw that. I was like, that was an interesting play. That play was like, there's some potential there for him to play the big man. So, again, it was scripted for them to do it like that, to beat both. Kyrie gets put out the game. Kyrie only ends up with 18. You see how Levine scored 50 and they lost? Did y'all check that out? Levine scored 50. Tatum scored 50, and Tatum joined. Bird scored 50. once. He scored 60 once. Mikal scored 57. So those are the greatest games of the Celtics. Tatum scoring 50. Larry Bird scored 50 once. Kevin McHale scored 57. And Larry Bird scored the all-time record of 60 for the Celtics. So we've been seeing that. We've been seeing, but Levine, you score 50 and you lose. You don't see that very often. Once Bo Jackson came to the Raiders told Marcus we didn't need him. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Sebastian, thank you for coming. Net shit defense, they ain't making it. Yeah, do you think the Lakers exposed them? Yeah, I think you got a point there. They don't play great defense. But, yeah, they fucked Marcus Allen around when they could have been more dynamic. Like even that play, the play with Bo Jackson was very suspect where, I don't know, just the way he was tackled. They tackled him in an odd space like they wanted to hurt him on purpose. and Bo Jackson's right. Bo Jackson should have just went out of bounds, and he didn't. He tried to kind of run somebody over, and they kind of got that almost like horse collar tackle like. It's kind of almost like that where when he got that injury. Because when you horse collar tackle somebody like when T.O. got injured, it makes you take that funny step that'll fuck your knee up. And Bo Jackson's knee was fucked up like as bad as that Chicago Bear and Teddy Bridgewater, because what it did is it tore the hip. When Bo Jackson got hurt, it tore the hip away from all, ligaments and nerves. It tore the hip off of the muscle. So it was one of the worst hip injuries ever. He had to have his hip replaced. And what was he at the time? 28, 29? He played a season or two of baseball with a repaired hip as a DH. I don't know if people remember that. Yep. Who is the Jack Tatum in the NFL today? Is Gruden a double agent? Absolutely, Derek. Who is Jack Tatum now? I think I missed one. You think that Russell Westbrook is going through the ritual of not being on a team that is in a position to win? They ain't going to let him win. They ain't going to let the Cro-Magnon man win. Who's Jack Tatum today? Oh, I don't even know. Probably nobody. I mean, they was letting Jack Tatum break people's necks. He broke Daryl Singletary. He broke his neck. And he did the same hit to Sammy White. They didn't do shit. Look at the hit on Sammy White. What's interesting, I'm Facebook friends with a dude who was playing with the Patriots then. He was a receiver too. And he was at the game, and he was just saying how, they had to go into halftime. Because I think Singletary got hurt in the first half. And when he hits Singletary, he does the same right over, guns like right over to him. And then he does Sammy White the same way. So they was letting him headhunt. They was letting him hurt people on purpose. And he'd already broke one dude's neck, and then you do it again in the Super Bowl. That's allowed. That's allowed. That's allowed. Why not? Is Derek Gruden let me see, GR. Do you think Russell Westbrook? I don't know. I just don't see that they're gonna let him win. You know what they did? They let him get the triple, the triple double. They let him break the Oscar Robertson record. That's all he gonna get. That's why not. Him breaking the Oscar Robertson record was his crowning achievement, but he will not win a title unless they do like they did Oscar Robertson. When he gets old, let him win one title when he gets old. That's a possibility. And that would be the Oscar Robertson. Let you win a title.
That's just like a long snap. My shit's not working.
No.
Why?
No, you're not logging in the Snap on either. That's okay.
You don't have Snap on that.
No, I don't want Snap on it either.
I'll delete it after.
I don't want it on it.
I'm gonna delete it.
You got your own phone. Use your own phone.
Bro, it's not working.
Well, that's
Come on,
no.
bro. I have to text my friend.
Yeah,
Remember that.
I remember. Write it down. Take a picture. It's filmed right here. No, I didn't know about that, David. So I don't think Westbrook. I think that was his crowning achievement. I didn't know that about David. Was Devin Hester the real deal or scripted? Wow. It's like you have actors or comedians like Paul Lynde, Wanda Sykes that never find their niche. He never really found his niche other than being the greatest kickoff return and punt returner in the NFL history. He had his speed, like a kickoff is a really easy, it's a dangerous play, but it's an easy way to get touchdowns because you have the whole field in front of you. And a kickoff return can literally be one block and you can get a touchdown. Scripted, probably somewhat, but he had talent to make it look good. He had the talent to make it look good. So, yeah, most touchdowns like that are scripted, but he had, but that was it. He was a one-trick pony, as they call it, one show. You know, he had one trick, and he didn't fit as being a DB because he couldn't cover. He wasn't a good receiver because he couldn't run good routes. So they really didn't know how to use him. I think in today's game with the bubble screens would have helped him a lot if they could have gave him a lot of bubble screens or put him in the slot, but they never did that. They never did that for him. So talented, but they didn't find the right place. War popping off in Ukraine. U.S. got troops bombing Ukrainians, and Russia got 800 robot tanks on the border. Wow, Sheest, that should be on the news. That's going to either have a scripted injury or blame Kyrie. I would say blame Kyrie. I would say me and my brother was just talking about Devin Hester. That was my boy. Oh, yeah. I mean, he broke Gale Sayers' records of returns. Gale Sayers, before that, was the best ever. So took a hell of a man to break those. Yeah, I think right, CJ. We were wondering who would be the next Devin or Dion. Yeah, it's or even what was his name from Michigan? He was in that same kind of way. He was just a better DB. Devin Hester better than Dion? Well, not as a cover person. Dion was probably one of the best cover people ever, other than trying to think. Atkinson was a good cover man, press coverage, but Dion didn't have to press people. Like before Dion, a lot of DBs had to do press coverage, and they pushed that out. Dion didn't need that. Dion did not need to touch you to stop you. He could just stay with you. Like I was talking about, one of my teammates could run just as fast sideways as I could run forwards. Dion had that same ability. And he could cover damn near a couple people. They changed the special teams. That's for Hester. Yeah, they did. They moved the kickoff from the 30 to the 35-yard line. Yes, they did. But the kickoff, most injuries, what they found is most injuries happen on kickoffs. And these ain't really starters, but they used to call it back in 70, 71, Life magazine did a thing, and they called, the kickoff team and the punch team the Suicide Squad. That's what it was called back then, the Suicide Squad. That's where most injuries come from. I'm surprised they haven't done away with it, because eventually that's what they're. Rod Woodson, Rod Woodson, yeah. He was kind of in there as well, that type of player. Devin probably better than Dion on punt returns, but not overall. Exactly. Kickoffs, too. Dion never returned kickoffs. Josh Cribbs was slept on returner. He just didn't have a very long career. Rod Woodson was better than Dion. Dion wasn't a safety, though. Wasn't Woodson more of a safety? I think he played safety. So, I don't know. Dion, again, to be able to cover mugs without press coverage is where they quit throwing to your side. They quit throwing to his side. he could cover, he could cover a whole side. Didn't see many people could do that. And you got to give that to Dion. Dion, they wouldn't throw to him. They wouldn't throw to him. So he was a corner at Pittsburgh. No, I'm not. I'm talking Charles Woodson. Yeah, Charles Woodson, not Rod Woodson. Charles Woodson. Rod Woodson, yeah. Charles Woodson, I think, plays safety. Rod Woodson, I don't think because he got hurt too. I don't think he was better than Dion. He was good, but I don't think he was better than Dion. He was. I was talking about Charles Woodson that won the Heisman. Because that Woodson, didn't he come out of Purdue, if I remember right? Because I think that cat's younger than me too, Charles or Rod Woodson. Because he ended up with it. He got a Super Bowl with the Raiders, didn't he? Didn't he get a Super Bowl? Because Woodson won a Super Bowl. Maybe he was with Baltimore. He won a Super Bowl. I don't remember. Revis or Dion, who you got? Revis or Dion? Dion by far. Revis only had a couple good seasons. Revis Island. I think Dion in his heyday was better. Rod Woodson got the most career interceptions. No, he did. Oh, career. Okay, not for a season. Yeah, okay. Revis Island. Sebastian said Revis Island. For a couple seasons. But after that couple seasons, when they put him in a different scheme, he sucked. He sucked. When he got traded and they put him in a different scheme, he sucked. He was exposed too. He was exposed. But Rod Woodson has the most career interceptions. That's outstanding. I think he get just elected or got in the Hall of Fame a year or two ago. Seemed like he was in this COVID Hall of Fame thing. So, yeah, Woodson was good. He still wasn't Dion. He still was not Dion. Dion is one of the best athletes because Dion could hoop too. I mean, Deion was playing. People forget about like when Deion was wearing all that gold at Florida State. Deion was playing pro baseball in the summers. Shit, after spring ball, or maybe he got excused from spring ball. Deion was playing pro ball. He was, making thousands. He was living on campus making thousands. You're really black and ugly. Bill Rimnowski was a savage, and Saragusa snapped Gannon. He did. Saragusa snapped Gannon, and Saragusa hurt Palmer as well. No, not somewhere else hurt Palmer. But yeah, he hurt Gannon. And that hit ain't DM was a lifetime. Yeah, I mean that ability to return the ball, but quickness on defense. Deion really came from the era where Jimmy Johnson showed everybody to put your best players on defense. Even though Deion played at Florida State compared to Miami, Florida's Bobby Bowden started doing that, putting the best athletes on defense. And so a lot of people picked that up. And so Deion on defense had all these other potentials, returning punts. If he intercepted, he more than likely going to take it back. So Deion was a hell of a player. I mean, he was a hell of a player. Now he got hurt. He got turf toe really bad. And I remember he was on NFL and he was the commentator and he talked shit about Daniel Snyder because he's like, that's why Snyder's still paying me. Yeah, one of them contracts where, he got all this money. Snyder thought he could get all these old dudes and was going to win a Super Bowl with all these old fuckers. Yeah, it didn't happen. Deion came from Two Sport University. Yes, he did. When Palmer messed up his knee, it was crazy. I remember his injury when I was younger. Dirty play. John Lynch could hit too. Yeah, John Lynch was a lot like Ronnie Lott. You kind of put him kind of in that, not as big a cat, but Ronnie Lott, Ronnie Lott had broke his finger and it had smashed the finger open, where Ronnie Lott needed to go to the hospital. Ronnie Lott had told them to cut the damn finger off and tape it and put him back in the game. But he had hurt his finger so bad. And like right now, he has a nub because he had his finger cut off during the game. It's like what they did to Rocky Marciano was getting his ass whooped by either Ezra Childs. I think Ezra Childs fight before he retired. And that's where, Rocky said they cut his eyebrow. That was the real Rocky. Ezra Childs whooped his ass so bad, this shit was so hematoma where they cut his eyebrow. They cut it like they did it in the Rocky movie where the real Rocky Marciano had that shit cut. And you notice how they used another Rocky. Rocky was the last great white hope. And so they used the Rocky name again, even though it's portraying Chuck Webner. He put the name championship on Chuck Webner, but he's playing Chuck Webner. Chuck Webner sued him and won. Champ Bailey, yeah, he was good. He was good. Dirty player was Tony Saragosa, hurt Carson Palmer. Very dirty. I met Harry Carlson. He went to South Carolina State. And when we played in the Meadowlands, the Giants was sitting in the stands. Harry Carson was sitting in one of A&T's coach was Smalls. And Smalls was with the Giants. He had graduated the year before with a dude named Dwayne Board, who won 4 Super Bowl rings with the Niners, Pee Wee Board. And then he later was coaching. He coached for about 20 years. But Smalls later coached A&T. Him and Harry Carson was sitting in the stands when we was going to practice, so we got to meet him. Willie Lanier was nice. My favorite Chief, though, was the wide receiver, Otis. He's number 89. He's in bad shape now, too. Otis Taylor. Like when I was a freshman, I wanted to wear the single bar, the Joe Theismann single bar, and the coach wouldn't put it on the helmet. But if you look at Otis Taylor's old picture, when they went to the single bars, so he has 2 single bars, and then he put another one down below. So he has 3 and it looks really sweet, but he has like 3 single bars, and it's just a sweet look. When Joe the Jet Perry played, his face mask went like looped. It went like a single bar, then it looped like this and went over. Look up Joe the Jet Perry, and you can see his face mask how. And then if you look at one of my thumbnails, I put the thumbnail up of the dude playing with the plastic face mask. So now the plastic is over their eyes, but the plastic used to be a face mask. Look up my thumbnail from a couple nights ago. In the NFL 100-year book, they show Wyatt Tittle with one of them. But that's what they had at first, but they would fog up on people. But yeah, Joe the Jet had one, a funky one. It went across like this and then humped in the middle and then went back across. Chance Chandler, yeah, the Champs was a good player, but his body paid for it. That's why Saul was the toughest player to play in the game. I don't know if he was tougher than Buckus. Buckus was one of the bad men. They had to hurt that man to make him stop hurting people. Yeah, Merriman was okay, but yeah, he got caught with steroids, which a lot of them use. Which will start a team with Brady or Montana? Brady never had to play on a bad team, not really. And Montana played on some bad teams and still did decent. He pushed bad teams. Again, it's scripted, but he was able to push bad teams. Brady always played on good teams. Yeah, some years they didn't go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they ever missed the playoffs. But some years Brady didn't, or Montana didn't have good players around him. Brady, almost his whole 20 years, had pretty decent people around him. So I would say Montana more than Brady, because Brady wouldn't have been able to survive on bad teams. He would not have been able to survive on bad teams unless it was scripted for him to get hurt like they tore his knee up. You know, the leather helmets came out from the Olmec heads. Absolutely. That's I did and I probably should do another one to show that. That's absolutely right. Yeah. And that's where it shows the sacredness of the continuous ball field is, that's you can't say the heads were more heads. That had nothing to do with it. They are Yannis. They are representing of the hero twins. That's where the helmets come from the hero twins of the Popeye Vault. That is why the leaders wore those type of helmets. It was the leader of the continuous ball game that were the Yannis. That's why you see these heads. You see these heads as a representation of the hero twins. And for anyone that says that the hero twins are omen, they didn't do enough studying. There's my pictures. Here we go. It'll probably take me a second to find this shit, but they're in here somewhere. Where I've got a picture of the hero twins. And that is exactly because in the hero twins, they have the helmets on. I know it's so far though. I erase a lot of this shit. Oh, here's a picture of my great grandfather like jumping in wells. That's Josh Macon. He's probably born in Virginia. Tell me I gotta have to go to Facebook to get it. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Maybe it's on this shit. It's in here. Right here. See the same thing in this picture. That's a statue, Omen statue. This is the oldest statue in the Americas, right here. In all the Americas, this is the oldest statue. There's none older. Statue. I'm not talking about the pyramids of America, but the statues. And this is the other hero twin. See, they're wearing the same helmet. This was tore off some big monument, and they were saved because the Spanish discovered this stuff, and the Spanish destroyed a lot of it, tried to bury it. Warren Moon, do you believe Deion is genuine far as wanting HBC college football to shine, get in the greater spotlight? I think Deion is going to push that into one of these colleges, give him a job. And they're going to give him a job just so he can't do that. You already saw he took L's. He took some L's for teams that, again, this is not his recruits. You got to keep that in mind. This is not his recruits. You got to judge a coach on 4 years. But he's trying to go somewhere else because they don't want that. They don't want people going to black colleges. Brady never played on a bad team like Montana, yeah. Randall Cunningham. Randall was okay. His brother Bam. Remember Bam? Bam Cunningham played at USC. Kid Cudi from Cleveland. I met him multiple times in a suburb outside of Cleveland called Shaker Heights. I know where Shaker Heights is. He and his family still here. So sad he sold out wearing the dress. Yeah, they can't be proud of that. Your grandfather looked like Ray Lewis. That sucker was born around 1800. So, do you think spaceman and some old paintings are football helmets? Do you think the spaceman and some old paintings are football helmets? Read my soul. I don't know what that is. Spaceman. Oh, I know you talking about the ancient alien stuff. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think the spacemen are. I'd have to look at it. You know, a lot of times they try to show old things and say this is a spacesuit when their spacesuits can't protect them for shit. Just like again, the shits they trying to make you think they can send some shit to Mars and land some shit, which is against the galactic law. It really is. For them to, because again, you are putting a foreign substance there. And we know they putting shit in the soil to try to see if something goes on. Like we saw, what is it called? Perseus, or when supposedly they went, it started where one of their creatures came and he jumped into the water of the earth and started life like that. You don't think they're trying to do that there if they can really go there? Again, this is a document discovery with them. So of course they putting, biological shit from the earth on that land to try to see if it'll turn into something else. They already think they own it. If they are really there, they already saying they own that shit. Documented discovery. King Kong just showed you that one, Inner Earth. That chick proclaimed, my father owns all this shit. And that's how they feel. But that's against universal law. So you don't think there's something in the universe that'll punish their ass for doing that shit? If they're really there, I don't think they're really there. I don't think they're there. Yeah, Prometheus. You think the space? So it could be. Read my soul. It could be, but I just don't think so. So, but yeah, I think I'm a knock off. I'm losing my voice. I can't do no more. Yeah, I don't feel like doing all that. King Kong definitely exposed the hollow earth, I think. Yeah, but the thing about it is, again, the water. There's no way to blow through and you don't hit water. That was some bullshit. So that was that old shit, that Admiral Byrd shit. But no, it's water. It's more. That's why they can't go to that shit. It's too much water, and they don't have anything that can traverse to drill through the water and survive. That's why certain parts of the ocean they still can't go to because of the water pressure. Well, you're welcome. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Games on tomorrow. Later games. So I'll probably be on the same time tomorrow. Yeah, finish my week. I only did a four-day week this week, so I will be here to this time tomorrow. So as you know, when I quit, I have to say my Eshawn poem. I'm not a New York rapper or LA gang banger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you all for the support. I appreciate it. Till we meet again.